And I don't know if we have a pastor today or anybody to give invocation.
Okay, I don't want to mess with Harry, but
Nobody? Okay. Commissioner Modis, would you? It would be lovely. Thank you. Give me just one moment to do this. That's the official calling us in to order. And in just a moment, I'll remark for the clerk the time, but I'm noting it is 2:03. I would like for everyone to please stand as I call for invocation. Please remain standing after invocation for the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States of America and to our Texas flags.
Father God, we come before you, Lord, today, and we just say thank you, Father, for this opportunity, for your children of this community, for this county, Father, to come as one and to look to you, Father, and just see what we have before us, Lord. We ask for prayers and blessings for our judge, for our commissioners, Father, for their families, for their staff, Father and God, and we ask that you bless every individual that is here present today, and those that are watching on video. Lord, we just say thank you for this time. Bless us, Father. For all these things, we ask in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Time is 2:04 p.m. and the date is September 26, 2022. We are in Nueces County Commissioner's Courtroom on the third floor of Nueces County Courthouse at 901 Leopard. And I think, is Commissioner Chesney, can you double check his office? We are going to call roll, but I do believe, I saw Peyton earlier, so we can ask. But Commissioner Hernandez, Modis, myself, and Gonzalez are present for the clerk. And therefore, I do establish, as the presiding officer, that a quorum has been established. At this time, I'll ask for any conflicts of interest or appearance of conflicts of interest with any items on the agenda. We should declare them at this time pursuant to the law, and members with conflicts will refrain from voting and are asked to refrain from discussion on such items. Conflicts discovered later in the meeting shall be disclosed at that time. I'll ask you to turn your attention to Timothy Everest as he gives us a safety briefing. We do have a full courtroom, so if you would give him your focus, please. Timothy.
Good afternoon, Judge, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
We're meeting here on the third floor of the Nueces County Courthouse, 901 Leopard Street. The restrooms are located on the right-hand side of the third floor atrium as you exit the courtroom past the Human Resources Office. Please note there's a fire extinguisher located at the rear of the courtroom. There are also 5 additional fire extinguishers throughout the third floor atrium area. In the event of a cardiac emergency, an automated external defibrillator, or AED, is located on the atrium wall next to the Human Resources Office. The participant in the courtroom that's responsible for dialing 911 in the event of emergency is Connie. In the event of evacuation, our egress route will be down the atrium stairs, exiting the Level Pine Street entrance and assembling in the parking lot across the street. Should there be a need to shelter in place, court attendees will remain in the courtroom. Depending upon the severity of the incidents, the courtroom's double doors will be secured and remain secured until given further instructions from the Nueces County Sheriff's Office or other law enforcement agencies. Our shared safety topics for this court is October is National Substance Awareness Prevention Month. That concludes my brief.
Okay, thank you. At this time and pursuant to the agenda, the Nueces County Commissioners Court will conduct a public hearing to receive public comment on the designation of a reinvestment zone, which will allow for the creation, according to the statutory timeline, of a zone for temporary tax abatement at a subsequent meeting to be established under Chapter 312 of the Texas Tax Code. The establishment of the zone is at the request of Tesla, Inc., and the zone would be located west of the intersection of U.S. Highway 77 and County Road 28 in Driscoll, Nueces County, Texas. The facility is intended to manufacture lithium batteries. I think at the start, I should just say I read that fast. However, I think it's important for me to repeat thank you, one of the lines here. This is not the meeting where we will establish any agreement or any discussion of any agreement regarding Chapter 312. This is the meeting that will be for the designation of a reinvestment zone after the action taken by Robstown Independent School District. The zone is now ripe to be discussed and considered. So just kind of give you a little bit of the lay of the land with regards to what this is and what it's not. With that, a public hearing calls for public comment. And I've got a list of people, so I will call you in the order that you signed up. Those of you online, please know that I'm watching you. I see that you've already indicated by your virtual hand, the icon, that you wish to make public comment, so I'm going to write your name down and call on you shortly. For those of you in the room, always like to go over the protocols. There's a digital clock that will be displayed as you approach the dais, and it's a 3-minute clock. It's pursuant to our rules, and we really always try to do a nice job of not interrupting you, but we just ask that you be real mindful of the clock. Try to be respectful that there's others that are going to be following the same time frame. And we welcome you to this court. And I will begin by asking Ms. Kathy Fulton to start. Forgive me, Ms. Fulton, I'm going to make one more general announcement. Also, some of you didn't indicate, it just says public comment, no problem. But if you are here to speak on a regular agenda item, just please know you have the option to speak at the time of the agenda item. I'm talking about the regular agenda, that is. Or, of course, you're welcome at this time as well. That concludes the housekeeping. Ms. Fulton, you may proceed.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, this is on the public hearing, right?
That's
You've
correct.
opened it? Okay, just making sure.
My name is Kathy Fulton, and I live in Port Aransas, Texas. I wanted to speak on this because I have concerns about, number one, how this public hearing was noticed, especially for the municipality I think is most impacted, which really isn't Robstown as much as it appears to be Bishop and its surrounding area. How many of these residents were made aware of this public hearing? Has there been any public meeting held in Bishop for that matter? 313 abatements will terminate at the end of the year, and there's a reason that they are terminating, because people have started to realize exactly what a rip-off 313s really are. There is a lot of the claim is what, 60 million is going to be abated. It will end up being well more than that. There's going to be a report coming out tomorrow. I would encourage everybody to consider holding off on any decisions until some of these reports are released tomorrow about what actually happens with these 313 abatements and how communities get cheated out of a tremendous amount of money. Tesla made $16.9 billion and some change in the second quarter of this year. Tesla is a multi-billion-dollar company, and I honestly, in this one, they're the last ones that need an abatement. I'm sorry if Mr. Elon Musk can't build one more little rocket ship to suspend people up in the upper atmosphere for a minute, but you know, that's really not our problem. Our problem is the communities themselves and the communities most affected. I think Tesla needs to pay its fair share. Now, on environmental, I also want to make a statement about this is going to be a refinery that's going to be processing raw lithium ore and will likely, obviously, require an air permit. Are the residents that are within the mile, or even those that I saw on the map that are well within a quarter mile, are they aware of all of this? Have they been made aware? The facility will have cooling towers and will require large amounts of water for this processing. Where's that water going to come from? After everything that we've been going through with droughts and restrictions and everything, we are not, I mean, they need to bring their own water, or we need to be asking these questions. Where's that water coming from? The other thing that they're gonna need is a water discharge permit, which would then be discharging more than likely into Petronilla Creek. And let's see, how much discharge is already going into that creek? And all that discharge eventually supposedly gets to the bays. This discharge will have foreign minerals that we're, that nothing in our bay system is familiar with, along with other chemicals. We have got to start protecting our environment and our bay systems, and I do believe the people of Bishop and all need to have some public meetings so they are made aware. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll next hear from, and again, Commissioner Chesney pointed out, and he's right, we're inside the public hearing. We're going to have public comment as well, but on the public hearing, obviously, the subject matter is the reinvestment zone. Mr. Morris, with that, is that your
I
comment?
did not note on there, but I'm here to address agenda item number 3.
Thank you. Is it all right? I'm going to note it, and then we'll call on you in a little bit. Number 3. Thank you, sir. How about, is it Phelan, Mr. Chris Phelan?
Chris Phelan, 3806 Kingston Drive, Corpus Christi, Texas. You know, Commissioner Mares, when first time you dealt with me was over at CCISD. You were a member of the CCISD board, and I went before and opposed voestalpine's 313. And that was the point where we realized what was going on with these 313 programs. And you and I haven't had a very good relationship ever since then because of that. Because the MALDEF had to sue Texas to get Robin Hood instated, to create the conditions to disseminate education funds correctly throughout the state. Because the state of Texas was not protecting children's constitutional rights here. And the state of Texas was found to be violating those constitutional rights, and the legislative fix for that, and I'd appreciate if y'all listen to me, was Robin Hood. That was the Robin Hood fix. So whenever people come up here and talk about Robin Hood and how terrible Robin Hood is in place to make sure that poor minority students get their fair allotment of education funds. So when Commissioner Mares, when you voted for that 313 for voestalpine, you stole money from Robstown. You stole it from the Robstown ISD. So I can't be mad at Robstown ISD for wanting their own 313. When I look at Robstown ISD, they've got 2 313s. And when you look at the comptroller, there's no jobs. The jobs that were promised for those 2 313s, they're not there. According to this comptroller's website, there's no jobs. The jobs that were promised them they're not there. You're going to create this investment zone, and that's going to deprive the community of the tax dollars that it needs to sustain itself, as we have seen with the ADAs with the refineries. Now, these refinery ADAs in Corpus Christi are coming up to be renegotiated. We're going to be, we expect those to be renegotiated in a way that is in the interest of the taxpayers. We see a large burden placed on the taxpayers and placed on the small businesses here in Nueces County. We see the small businesses have to supplement the industry's water bills. We see that happening. We know that the water is not there. We don't have the water. If they want to come into our community, don't come to us with open hands asking us for things. Come and work with us and let us tell you what our community needs. We have Superfund sites. Let's go mitigate a Superfund site. Let's talk about getting the water from one of these industries that we're trying to phase out, because we're phasing out of these fossil fuels, and we don't have more water for you. We're going to have to deal with the resources that we have. So, you know, there I'm speaking with Tesla, but please do not vote for any reinvestment zone. We would appreciate more information too. We don't have enough information. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, Dorothy Peña. Ms. Peña.
Dorothy Peña, Corpus Christi, Texas. The Amara people, which are an indigenous community in Chile, know the consequences of lithium mining. And soon our sisters and brothers in Robstown, Bishop, Petronila will know the consequences of refining lithium with their finances in the form of tax abatements for the billion-dollar company Tesla, and with their health with exposure to mercury and whatever other chemicals that will be released into their communities. This community is predominantly Mexican-American or Hispanic. So yet again, communities of color are being asked to pay the price for the rest of the world for those that can actually afford to buy an electric vehicle. Robstown is not my home per se, but it is my spiritual home. It is the place where the Calpulia Hecat Papalotzin gathers for Temascal or Sweat Lodge. It is where we practice the traditions of our ancestors. It is my responsibility to speak for my family and community. We want a just transition. We want clean jobs. We want clean energy. But why does it always have to come at the expense of others? Are electric cars the answer? To me, no. Is technology going to save us? In my opinion, no. So why do we continue to look for solutions that involve extraction and harm? Why aren't we building cities that are bicycle friendly, or cities that people can walk within a mile radius to wherever they need to go so that all their needs are being met? Well, it's because it always comes down to money being the value that guides your decision making. It's not the people. It's not the future. And it's definitely not from the opinions of your community. Who's speaking with us? Who's trying to gather ideas from this community to find out what our vision is for the future of this place? What we see are solutions that don't harm people, that don't harm the environment. We're tired. I'm almost 38 years old. I want to be able to do a job in this world where I don't feel like I'm harming this place or the people that live here. It's very hard to do. We do not think this lithium refinery is a good idea for the community of Robstown, Corpus Christi, or Texas. Please stop making us sacrifice zones. We're tired. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Love Sanchez.
Hi, Love Sanchez, co-founder of Indigenous Peoples of the Coastal Bend, Corpus Christi, Texas. So, I'm not prepared to say anything about this, but it's because there wasn't enough information out there. And I know none of y'all are looking at us when y'all talk. There's very few of y'all. And I believe that y'all should have provided more information, more timing for us to get more information. And it's getting a little tiring the way y'all put out public notices and information for us. And I'm just going to piggyback off of Dorothy, because that's my sister. And everything she said, it's true. We are sacrificing those zones to y'all. And we're getting tired of it. We're getting tired of trying to exercise our rights, trying to protect land and water here, and not knowing enough. Y'all, there's not enough information out there. We want to know more so that we're able to talk with y'all and see if there's anything reasonable that we can do for our city. Because I'm not going nowhere, and I don't think any of y'all are going to go anywhere. So we do need to start trying to protect this area so that the little ones that are going to be here once we're gone are going to be able to live and thrive here. Thank you.
Thank you. It looks like Dan. Is it Horton? You're going to hold? Okay. How about another Dan Vetta? And then I'm going to move online, and then I'll come back here.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I think it's a really wonderful thing that Tesla's thinking about building over here. the electric car stuff is a continuation of that automobile industry, the way it affects jobs and giving jobs to people. The problem with what's going on seems to be that while Tesla is on the one hand trying to bring a dynamic new kind of car, they're still building them the old way. They're manufacturing using repetitive actions by the employees. They've got robots, but then the employees are stuck in that repetitive action kind of job. And the problem with that, Adam Smith said, well, that's the best way to make the money. You make the most profit when you divide labor that way. But he had a corollary to that, which said that that's the worst thing you can do to a human being. It makes them stupid. They go home and they haven't had to exercise their mind to do things differently. So it's a little off topic, I know, but I would just ask you to, when you do get to that point in the discussions with Tesla, that you hold them to modernizing everything, not just the kind of fuel that a car runs on. I mean, they still have 4 tires. Come on, a car should have 1 tire. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, online, and again, I'm just switching back here. Calling it in order, Lisa Hernandez. We'll ask her to unmute.
So was that me, Judge Canales?
It is, Lisa. Yes, it is, and I do see you. And
Okay.
just for the record, announce your address, and I'm filling it in on the public comment as you announce. And then we'll start your clock.
Okay, Lisa Osborne Hernandez, 5826 Llano Drive, Corpus Christi, Texas, 78407. I unfortunately was unable to make the meeting today, so I'm doing this virtually. I am highly concerned about the environmental impact of such a development in Robstown. The water issue has already been raised. I've read the proposal over and over again, and it talks about the safety of the new process. There is only one new process that has been developed within the last 3 years, and that was surprisingly by the man who received a Elon Musk $100 million gift for innovation. This man also happened to have invested heavily in Tesla. His is an electrophoresis system, which is normally very safe when done on a small scale. He's got a small scale of it, a model of it in Austin. However, it has not been done large scale. No environmental impact has been done. What is going to happen with the slag? What is going to happen with the refuse? A cooling tower and a water treatment plant? Again, where's the water going to come from? Electrophoresis, guess what? Electro calls for electricity. Are they then is Tesla going to build its own power plant down here like it did up in in Travis County? The livestock around the area is going to be impacted by the runoff, even if there is a water treatment plant. The crops in the area could be ruined. The electrophoresis gives you salts. Hello, you can't grow crops in salty soil. I ask that the commissioners please find more detail about the environmental impact of this before making any sort of decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hernandez. And now we'll have Julie Rogers. Julie, are you here to visit with us about the public hearing that we're having right now?
Yes, I am. Thank you very much.
You may proceed.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, would you just announce your address as well?
Yes, I live at 710 Furman in Corpus Christi, and I appreciate the opportunity to give public comment during this public hearing. I've been out of town though, and I really just found out about it, and that's what I'm concerned about. I just found out about it, and a lot of other people just found out about it. We need more sufficient notice and information so that we can have more public input and participation in this matter, please. I'm asking that you delay the decision and do exactly that. The notice was, as you know, probably was published in the Caller-Times on September 19th. That's 7 days before the hearing. And then the deadline for written comment was set at noon on September 23rd, which only gave us 4 days to give that written public comment, and now this public hearing. While you do give us the virtual capability, which I said I appreciate, and people were able to get to the courtroom, that's still not enough time. So far, there's been what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people, and we're all from Corpus Christi. We need more input from Robstown and Bishop folks, the rest of Nueces County. I couldn't help but think about what a great job the Commissioners Court did during the redistricting process, and you set up those opportunities. And there was one time that the map, a fellow from Robstown realized his precinct was going to be cut in half, and he gave public input, and then you all listened to him, and you didn't split the precinct in half. Please do that again and give everybody time, especially the rural Nueces County residents and community members, time to give input on this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now we will hear from Rachel Caballero. And I'll do it. I'll put you twice. I also want to see if you will check for me online, see if there's anybody else so I can prepare. And I'll put you twice. This is for the public hearing, though.
Yeah, this is a Tesla
Got it.
reinvestment zone. Good afternoon, elected employees. Let's not forget that you guys are all, your salaries are all paid by the taxpayers, and not by Tesla or anyone else. I am here, and in case you guys need to focus, everybody that's talking about the Tesla, it means no. We don't want you guys to rezone this to accommodate Tesla, just to be clear. I have a really big issue with this because if we had a county governing body and a city governing body that could actually get along and communicate properly, you guys would understand that there is a demand on our power grid and there's also a demand on our water resources. So approving this rezoning to allow someone like Tesla to come in makes absolutely no sense at all. And this is why it's extremely important that we have two governing bodies that can get along and speak well with each other. So that way we know that these are issues. So we can't have somebody like Tesla come in and put a strain on our resources that you guys have been shoving down our throats is under copious amounts of strain due to industry. So let's try to remember those things while we're out campaigning. Also, you're going to have some title companies in here and some insurance companies in here saying that this is a great idea, it's going to bring in this, that, or the other. Well, let's not forget that most of these title companies and insurance companies have a vested interest in receiving profit for their businesses. Let's see. Also, I want to touch on the meeting information. As much as we appreciate you guys publicizing this on the Caller-Times, it has minimal to no readers. So I'd like a better announcement whenever we're going to have special meetings. 15 special meetings this year tells me one of two things. One, you guys are not prioritizing your regular meetings properly, so that needs to be done. Or you're trying to sneak some things in special meetings that other people are not aware of. So let's refrain on the special meetings. There was 3 in 1 month. That's unacceptable. If you can't get it done during your regular meeting, then it's time to start reevaluating your priorities. I mean, on this 313 abatements, I mean, you guys are, some of you have the spin of being able to make people understand certain things. So I'm not exactly sure why you are not understanding that the taxpayer, we can no longer afford to subsidize anyone. We can't subsidize industry. We don't want to pay for industry. Our tax rates are at an astronomical high. We also have inflation, which I don't know if any of you guys have been affected by that. Maybe not based off of, your decision making, but you cannot siphon any more money out of the taxpayers. I'm not exactly sure how else to say that. So I would appreciate some thought, some empathy, and how this is going to negatively impact the people of Robstown, Petronila, Bishop, in that area. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I want to double check it, but Mike Culbertson, do you want to make comment? I'll sign you up, and you'll just have to announce your name again and address for the record.
All right, Mike Culbertson, I'm the CEO of the Corpus Christi Regional Economic Development Corporation here in the region, and I'm speaking for them, 800 North Shoreline.
Thank you.
Suite 1300 South, Corpus 78401. I want to touch on really quickly Chapter 313s. Chapter 313s is a way to entice companies to come to Texas. One of the problems that we have is we are competing. Every one of these jobs, every one of these factories, we are competing for on not only a national stage, but an international stage. So it allows us to bring those things in. The other part, remember we talked about Robstown. This is actually pretty good for Robstown. They voted unanimously, the ISD unanimously, to accept this, and they do it for a few reasons. Number one, they are going to have this factory there for 50 years, if you want to take a look at it that way. They get the INS portion of the tax plus a part of the M&O, and they get money equal to $100 per ADA, average daily attendance, that is outside of the Texas school financing, and so they can do that, use that for anything they want. So those are important things that they will have. Plus, they will have a great company that has great jobs. And let's just talk really quick about what you're doing here. All you're doing is just creating a reinvestment zone. It is a geographic location where all you're saying is that this has not been developed, and we are making it eligible for 313s or any other investment or incentive that other taxing agencies would do. That's all you're doing today. They last for 5 years. Really, the reason you're doing it is to promote economic development, and we appreciate it. We, the EDC, appreciate it. This is going to bring, if we get this is going to bring great paying jobs. We forget about, how jobs come into the community. Remember back when in the 80s, as it started slowing down, tell me how great it was. I left for the University of Texas 1975. We were bigger than Austin. I came back here 30 years later, and we were 277. We went from 254 to 277. That's what happens when you don't have companies like this in. This is what happens when you do not try to move this forward. You want better stuff? I'll tell you how to get better stuff. Get better stuff by getting companies in here that increase the average household wage. This is how you're going to do this. I thank you very much for your consideration. We certainly support this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Ian Vasey?
Good afternoon, Judge, Commissioners. For the record, Ian Vasey with Nueces County Development Commission. First of all, let me explain that this is the start of a process, that there's going to be further hearings, as you described, Judge. This isn't to approve any tax abatements or anything from the county to Tesla. This is in support of, the enabling legislation to support Robstown Independent School District that already passed unanimously a 313 tax limitation, and I'm going to talk about that in 1 second. But this allows them to pursue this. So the county's being asked to create the reinvestment zone that then allows the school district to do what they wish to do for their financing purposes. It's not passing anything from the county, giving anything away. It's so that the school district can do things to manage their finances. Now, we've talked about 313s. 313s are Well, the whole thing of school finance is a very strange animal. There's a thing called Robin Hood, where a school district might get a local major investment located in their district, and most of the school revenues, the tax revenues, will be passed out throughout the state of Texas. And the local school district who's facing that growth doesn't get to keep most of that revenue. 90% of that revenue can go outside of the community, be spread all the way to El Paso and Amarillo and wherever else. The local school district doesn't get to keep that. But with a tax limitation agreement on the 313, Robstown Independent School District will be able to keep most of those revenues in their community. As an example, in a neighboring community, Gregory Portland School District did a similar agreement. It allowed them to be able to build a whole new high school. The one in Sinton is building a whole new high school out of the revenues from one of these 313 agreements, and they're able to do it out of cash. So that's the reason. The 313s and school tax finance is a very difficult and complicated thing that on the surface doesn't look, you can make statements and sweeping statements, but in reality, they study these very closely, they run their numbers, and they assess what's in the financial advantages to that school district, and that's why this is being proposed today. And again, we're talking about a very large company. We're talking about at least 150 jobs, well-paying jobs that Mike's talked about. We've talked about this being potentially north of $400 million in investments, between $400 and $500 million in investments. Not a large amount of water, well within the district's water allocation, and being able to adopt that. So we're going to have future hearings and future discussions about all of those other pieces of the deal. But today, it's just the Tesla reinvestment zone that we're discussing. And this is from a NCDC perspective, a very positive and very forward-looking new energy, new manufacturing, advanced manufacturing type of project. So, thank you.
Thank you. I do have a few people that I've noted for a different agenda item, but is there anybody else that wishes to make, I will sign you up. I recognize Carolyn Vaughn.
Good afternoon, Judge and Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for your attention to this matter today. I can kind of see both sides here. I am a big supporter of business. I'm really excited about Tesla coming. I think that's really going to help Robstown and Bishop and also Corpus Christi. But I understand the concern to make sure that the residents know. Judge, you remember Epic, the big tanks on Calicote. That was all done before we got here. The citizens did not know. And it is so important that the citizens know you can't just put a little sign up. It's not going to happen. They're not going to know. So it's important that you commissioners, that's in your area, you need to make sure that they know what's going on. But I support it. Another concern that they had also, we have a lot of farmers. So we need to make sure what we're putting in here and what effect that's going to have on it. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Campos, would you like to follow? I'll recognize Sylvia Campos, if you'll just add your address for me.
Thank you so much, Judge, Commissioners. Sylvia Campos, 4410 Fur. Yeah, this is feels really rushed. I thank goodness that we have friends. I belong to a group called For the Greater Good, and if it wasn't for Chris, honestly, letting some of us know, we wouldn't know. And that's because we're in the so-called business, right? We're running for office. But I must say this. Yes, tomorrow will be a big announcement regarding these 312s and 313s and what they've done to Texas in the past, and how much billions, we're talking billions of dollars we have been losing. And we're subsidizing multi-billion-dollar industries. Now, is it possible that Tesla might locate somewhere else? That's possible. But you know what? They also know when it's a good thing, and we are a good thing. And if they want to do business with us, they need to do it properly, and we need to get full 100% of revenue that we are entitled to, Judge and Commissioner. We need to stop doing these giveaways. Now, I've heard that this is just the beginning. We've heard this before from the city on the desalination. Oh, this is just the beginning. And then here we go, spending millions and millions of dollars. And now we're on that track. So I'm sorry I'm getting sidetracked, but I want you, and I hope that you will listen to the public, because at the end of the day, this is what they're going to ask you, Judge and Commissioners. What side are you on? Are you on the side of the people, or are you on the side of big corporations? And we're the ones that vote. So you make that decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Cindy Barrera.
Good
I
afternoon.
said chair because you're the chair. Presiding officer recognizes Cindy Barrera. Go ahead.
Thank you, Judge and Commissioners. I just want to speak, I am proud to represent Nueces County Development Commission as their chairwoman. I'm also a taxpayer. I'm a mother. So I want to humanize this issue because I know a lot of the speakers have come to express concerns. And of course, there are always concerns, but the concern I hear most is that we've fallen behind. We've fallen behind in wages. We've fallen behind in job opportunities. We've fallen behind in just quality of life. And so I commend the court for serious consideration to allow Tesla to come to our community. You know, we've heard about inflation and various concerns. I don't believe that the 5 of you that are elected would make a decision that would negatively impact or compromise safety and well-being of our families. That's why we entrusted you. That's why you're in the seats that you're in. But I do also want to say that this will bring alleviation to the concerns. Inflation is a big issue. The only way for families in Nueces County to combat that is to have better opportunities for jobs, to have higher paying jobs, and for our children to want to stay in Nueces County. We have great kids. We're working on always giving them better opportunities. But why do they have to leave Corpus or Nueces County to find better jobs? So this is another opportunity of a company. Yes, it's foreign. I know the unknown scares people, but it's time for Nueces County to take part and to have those big companies. We are proud that Amazon is here. Tesla, yes, another well-known name. I don't feel that this courtroom today represents the overwhelming majority. I think we want progress in Nueces County, and again, we thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Mr. John Valls, and I'll sign you up. You just have to acknowledge your name and address.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Commissioners. My name is John Balls. I serve as the Executive Director of the Robstown Area Development Commission. We are at 500 North I-69, Suite 325 in Robstown, Texas. And I'd like to thank the Commissioners for the opportunity today to have the public comment and to represent the Robstown Area Development Commission. And just to remind the Commissioners Court that the Robstown Independent School District approved the 313 application on August the 22nd. So what you're doing today is merely a procedure that was requested of you from the Robstown Independent School District. I've spoken with Mayor Gomez, and he's very supportive of this project. A lot of the folks in Robstown are very excited about this project. This project falls right in between the city of Robstown and the city of Driscoll. I've also spoke with the mayor of Driscoll, Mayor Gonzalez, and he's very excited about this project and the opportunities that it could bring. So just to remind you that on August the 22nd, in Robstown, the Robstown Independent School District did consider and approve the 313 agreement. So I don't know how many of these folks were at the Robstown meeting, but I appreciate them being here today, and I just wanted to remind folks that that community is very excited about it. Ms. Caballero brings up some good points about resources, and Tesla and their mission is not to put a strain on resources. I've been to the plant in Austin, and I've been very impressed with the whole team at Tesla. They generate their own power in part. They reclaim their water through rain harvesting and reclamation and so forth. So all of these, many of these questions that are being asked today of folks here in Corpus Christi area will be addressed by Tesla representatives when they put forth their 312 agreement with Nueces County. But today it's mainly just a procedural item of creating the reinvestment zone, which the Commissioners Court was asked to do by the Robstown Independent School District. And Mr. Ian Vasey with the NCDC and Mike Culberson with the CCREDC spelled it out very well. I'm not going to go through all of the finer points of their economic numbers, but they're right on the target with that. We're very excited about this project. and the folks in Robstown are very excited about it. And as I said, Tesla will be putting forth a 312 agreement, and at that time, when the county considers it, a lot of those questions that have been raised here today will be addressed. So thank you, Judge. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Okay. I was watching everybody's hands here. Yes, sir. Mr. David Pitrick? You would just announce for us, and I'll follow by writing it here in my book.
My name's David Petrick. I'm the treasurer for Robstown for Del Mar College. We're working on the effort of trying to get Robstown Independent School District annexed into the Del Mar College District. We're also, I just want to let you know that I also own 2 empty office buildings in Robstown. So Robstown for Del Mar College and myself are very excited about Tesla coming to Robstown. What people need to know about Robstown is that Robstown has a median income of $60,000. Median income of $35,000. Median income of Corpus Christi is $55,000. The other thing is that the median house value in Corpus Christi is $200,000. Median home value in Robstown is $200,000. So this is going to be something that can bring Robstown up and make it equal with Corpus Christi. And also, I think if this is approved, I think Del Mar College, and if we win this battle to become part of the Del Mar College District, Del Mar College could design a program for Del Mar College to feed into the Tesla employment base. And I just think this works all well for Corpus Christi, works well for Robstown and Tesla and all the other facilities around Robstown. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. All right. Having concluded the public comment portion of this public hearing, I would ask if there are any comments or thoughts that need to be articulated here.
Are we going to, since everybody's here for this one,
We
we're going
are.
to go ahead and discuss the agenda item also once you close the public hearing? I'm trying to figure out when to make comments too, so I'm just trying to,
Well, I'm going to,
be kind of nice to do it while everybody was still here so they heard everything. That'd be, if that's,
there's a few things I want to make certain that get accomplished here before we go into executive session, but I think we can do them fairly quickly.
I'm sorry, I just meant the number one. I was just the agenda item, not, I wasn't saying, I wasn't saying
okay.
executive session,
All
I'm
right,
sorry.
thank
I
you.
apologize
Thank you for the
that
clarity.
confusion there.
Okay. So I then, in that case, I can move on. And so I would say that we will close the public hearing. I just wanted to make comment that in the agenda, what Commissioner Chesney is referring to is that on item number 1, it discusses and considers the adoption of the order designating the reinvestment zone. But we'll get to that once we do a few things, including approval of minutes and consent agenda. Again, I thought that the last speaker, the last couple of speakers helped identify what exactly we're doing here. I just want to acknowledge myself that I think that public notice is important. Communicating with the community is extra important. That, for me, is paramount. One of the nice things here is that we're not at that stage yet. When the county gets asked to do something, we're going to have sufficient, at least I will promote sufficient public town halls, public hearings, both online, virtual, like we've done for other significant matters that have come before this court, along with regional town halls. That means we'll move around. We won't just stay still in one position. But the important thing today is to recognize, I'll just emphasize again, is that Robstown Independent School District, a political subdivision in the state of Texas, whose control rests with their board members, they have had their say, and they have voted unanimously to approve a 313. We don't get to change that fact, but what they have asked of us is to create the opportunity for the reinvestment zone to occur. That's all. So what it is, and you'll see that, the maps outside that we placed online as well. This is a site that we have delineated on the map. It's not in the city of Robstown, and it's not in the city of Driscoll. It's in the Nueces unincorporated, but it is important to know it is inside that ISD jurisdiction. So that's why our ISD got to have their own say, their own control over it, and they did that back in August. And if it makes any difference to you, we didn't know either, okay? We weren't asked to attend. We were not asked to provide information or comment, but I do believe that they are elected to serve, and they did have that opportunity. Now that they've done it, it is incumbent on this court, per the statute that we've cited in our agenda, to support that effort if and only if, right, the company were to choose to come, it would then be applicable. This just gives the opportunity for the RISD to make good on what they voted on. In other words, that jurisdictional boundaries have to be established. To say that it's ministerial probably is not completely accurate, but it's as close to ministerial as it could be. It's an administrative process that we're following per the statutes and per the code. I also want to say that I agree with each of the speakers that have come forth to ask for all those good pieces of information that any governing body should ask. I wrote them down, so if you saw my head down, it's that I was listening and writing. And for the, I have, but we can always send to my office anymore. Waste product, water, power, environment, agricultural, and public messaging. Those are the ones that I have. I always usually go back and review tape to see what people say so I can make sure I get it all. And when we get to that step, if we get there at all, I can commit to you that I would be a strong proponent, as I have been for all the other important matters. The one that I can give you the most, I guess, relevance that was recent was our drainage, where we've held over 7 meetings in 7 different areas, not to mention all the hearings we've had here and workshops. So there's precedence for exactly what you're asking for. There's a manner in which we're accustomed to doing it, which is to share as much information as possible and also solicit information. And now I know which subject matters we would need to cover in order to make that real public comment, that real public engagement a reality. But again, this is so different than that other. With that,
Judge,
I'll convene. Yes, sir?
I was just going to say, are you going to go
Going to go straight to it. I'm going to do the minutes, Commissioner, just because it takes no time at all.
Questions and, okay. that's
Takes
fine.
no time at all.
Okay.
But for that, we'll convene the public hearing. We do this formally, guys, with the gavel, and not because we're archaic, but just in the process of letting the people know we're done there, and now we move on to the next. It's 2:56 PM for the record. Commissioners, quickly, I will move past the general information report. When we posted on Friday, we were still concerned that the hurricane, no offense, Ian Vasey, named Ian, might be affecting the Western Gulf. It did not affect the Western Gulf. So although I always believe information reports are important, I'll hold for now and ask if there's any questions at the end of the meeting. And I'll move on briskly to September 7th and 14th minutes. It's section I.
So moved, Judge.
Thank you. Is there a
Passage.
second? Motion and a second I heard by Gonzalez. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. There's consent agenda items very thoroughly vetted for expediency here. Items A through H. Is there a motion to approve items A through H on consent, the payment of bills, execution of certain grants and service agreement renewals?
So moved, Judge.
Thank you. There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Gonzalez has the second. Any action, any discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. Okay, and now we'll move to the discuss and consider adopting the order of the Tesla reinvestment zone. And although I do want to get to the item, I'd like to ask counsel, Ms. Dorsey, because we actually noticed it as well for executive session, and because I noticed that we have Ms. Gomez on the line, our attorney in such matters, do you make a recommendation to discuss any legal action at all or legal process? Can it all be done here?
I have not been informed of anything that needs to go into
I would-
executive, Judge.
Thank you so much. Ms. Gomez, I'll also extend the same courtesy to you. Is there anything here that you see that we might need to go into executive session to discuss on the legal front?
No, Judge, I agree with Ms. Dorsey.
Thank you. And therefore, I'll yield to Commissioner Chesney, who had a thought, comment, question.
Thanks, Judge. First, question, I guess, is, for these purposes, is anyone here from Tesla today? Or was there going to be anyone here presenting from Tesla? I was just curious.
There is no presentation today. There is availability if you do have any questions. That's my understanding. But there's no presentation because they're not asking for anything. This is in support of RISD's 313.
Fair enough. Their time will come when they
Their
come
time
back
will
to
come.
ask for us for certain things,
Yes.
right? And I think that's really the important part of this, is so that people are understanding, because it was fast, and believe me, it was fast for us too. So fast that, it's kind of overwhelming, quite frankly, because a lot of times, situations like these they're recruited, they're worked, they're looked at, and then we get them, and it's maybe another 6 months before they percolate. This, I hate to say it, kind of fell in our lap, but I think it did kind of fall in our lap, and I mean no disrespect to anybody who's worked hard for it, but this is one of those situations where I don't think anybody would argue that these 313s are set to expire, and a lot of companies all over the place are trying to get in under the wire on these 313s, and so the fact that we are fortunate enough to have this opportunity, whether it ends up being an opportunity we end up getting or not, we need to at least acknowledge that this came fast, not because people were out there working on this for months and months and months and months. Tesla filed their application. Tesla made contact with us. Well, first, Robstown Independent School District. Tesla made contact through intermediaries with us. And as soon as they were ready to put this on the agenda, we put it on the agenda. Now, we just happened to have this meeting that was set. That wasn't supposed to be a meeting. But we had some items that needed to be handled. We had allowed room for Tesla to be on here today as one of the items we talked about specifically in case they were ready. County attorney made their contact, the county manager did too. So I'm saying all this because I want people to understand this is fast for us too, right? I get it. And I'm super nervous about doing it that fast too, except when I heard all the explanation of, look, this has been through Robstown, they approved the 313, this is us only providing a mechanism, there's no details being done today, there's plenty of time, I won't say plenty of time because I'm sure it needs to get done quickly, but there's time for these public hearings that the judge referenced and that were requested. I think those have to happen. It's important that those happen because people do need to weigh in, but I think it's important to note that the body that as the judge and others have mentioned, that is compelling to me are those people that sit in Robstown that serve that community, that the mayor of Driscoll's on board, that the mayor of Robstown's on board, that the Robstown Independent School District's on board. I mean, how do we as elected officials, as some have said, not represent those people too? I mean, those are the people who benefit from this the most. So I think we have an obligation to move forward on this, to allow the process to work, to allow those public hearings, to allow Robstown to be able to finish what they need to do, to allow Tesla to prove to the community that they're going to be a good corporate partner, and to be able to potentially use this 313, which I believe are set to expire at the end of the year, which I get that that's a controversial device. You may like it, you may not like it, but it is an available tool at the moment. It's only an available tool through the end of the year. So I think it's worth looking at, and I think to say no at this juncture would be negligent in our responsibilities as elected officials. I don't represent Robstown, but it doesn't matter whether you represent an area or not. that's still my county. Those are still people that I, care about what they say. And what they're saying so far, at least the elected officials are saying, we want to take a look at this. With all due respect to those who have been here, I don't discount what you said. I think we have to look at this closely. But I think we have an obligation to look and listen to the folks who live and work and play in Robstown and give them great deference on this. So, but I do want to know, and I know that wasn't a question, that was a long soliloquy, but I think it's important to hear from elected officials on things like this so that you understand we hear you. This did come fast. I don't like that it's this fast. I think the expiration of the 313s is a reason that it came fast. But hey, we're lucky that, in my opinion, that Tesla reached out to us. We didn't have to work super hard on this yet. A lot of devils in the details, not again discounting anybody who did work, but Tesla gets credit for bringing this deal to Nueces County. Nueces County didn't go out necessarily and solicit Tesla. They came to us, Robstown first, now to us. I mean, yeah, and it is a multi-billion-dollar company, and I've lived in this community my whole life, and when I came back from college, all we talked about when I came back from college was, how do we get some of these multi-billion-dollar companies to come to Corpus Christi? How do we get them here? And now we have an opportunity, and I think we need to listen. I think we need to watch it. I think we really need to know, what's going on. And I do think if there's some opportunity, because I think there's some Tesla folks that are here somewhere. If they want to come and talk, we'd be happy to hear from them and get get additional information. Because I think it'd be advantageous to put a face with a name. So I know we've all had different levels of communication with Tesla. I finally got a hold of someone, not finally, because someone connected me with the right person, and I appreciate that, actually through Representative Hunter's office, and I appreciate that. So I think it'd be important to hear from the Tesla folks when we can, so that they can tell us. But I do think it would be great, Jenny, for you to lay out what happens, or IDA, what happens now? Like, when do these hearings happen? What goes on? So that people can, rest assured that we're hearing them on being heard. We want people to be heard, and we want to take the time. At the same time, we are in competition with other cities and states for this proposal that they've made to us that we appreciate. And we need to move in a reasonable manner, not rushing, but also not delaying. So, Jenny, do you have
I think Sandy Gomez on the line
Sandy,
is
good,
the
yeah.
expert in this area.
Yeah, I'm happy to give you and everyone there a little bit more background on what happens next. At an absolute bare minimum required by the statute would be if you were going to consider, if the county was going to consider giving a tax abatement, which is a 312 rather than a 313. So the 313 process goes through its own process that will be handled by the school district. But the 312, at the bare minimum, if y'all did absolutely no other due diligence, which it sounds to me from the court would not be the case, you have to have at least a 30-day notice for posting and information regarding the actual agreement. And then you have to have another public hearing, at least one, just like this, that has been posted and noticed for 30 days. So at the bare minimum, if you did nothing else, you would be required by statute to do that at least 30-day, letting the public know, and then having another hearing like this, in which you would actually go through the details of what you would be granting the company in the actual abatement agreement, and also what you would be requiring from the company as part of that abatement agreement. What most folks do, and it sounds like what the county judge and the rest of you commissioners would require, is general due diligence on the tax abatement agreements. And that can and does include reviewing the proposed job numbers, the proposed construction improvement amounts, the proposed duration and amount of any abatement. It includes considering environmental implications. This is about Nueces County taking this opportunity to decide if you want to provide this type of agreement to a particular project for a particular company. So bare minimum, the fastest anything would possibly come to y'all would be 30 days from now. But you can have a much more extensive due diligence process.
Do the 312s expire at the end of the year also?
No.
Okay, so
Only the 313
313's only?
statute was sunsetted by the last legislative session.
Right.
And so the statute basically goes away on December 31st of 2022. Nothing happens to the 312s.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I think that would be, a good thing to do, if someone, and I don't know how we need to set that up, but to have some sort of public hearing out in the Robstown Bishop area would be great. But at the same time, I think Robstown ISD will work through their 313 and right now we don't even have a 312 in front of us. We don't have anything that I know of, right?
That's
Jenny?
correct.
I mean, we don't have anything Sandy, we don't have anything yet. So
That's correct.
there's really nothing for us to decide today other than creating the parameters of the TERS that just says we're going to move forward with it, but the devil's in the detail, and we've got to put forth a fair 312 when we get to it, but not one that is any different than what we would do for anybody else that we deem worthy of something like this. And again, I just want to say, I appreciate Tesla reaching out to Nueces County, Robstown, and at least giving us an opportunity. And if it's right for the community, so be it. If it's not, then so be it as well. But I do appreciate the fact that they're at least looking in South Texas. And this, according to what I read, could be first of its kind in anywhere. That's interesting too. But the environmental effects obviously need to be looked at as well. No question.
Okay.
Excuse me, Judge.
Commissioner
I've
Hernandez?
also talked to people from Driscoll, and they like the idea of Tesla coming to their town. So I would also like to include Driscoll in anything we decide.
Yes, sir. Commissioners?
I think one of the things just to point out is it's a very unique area of the county in that you have 3 precincts that are separated merely by miles. So you have precincts 2, 3, and 4, whose communities are all represented. And of course, I know the entire court is concerned, but just if you want to look politically at the precinct map that was passed last November, before it used to all be in precinct 3, and this location does fall within my precinct. But as Commissioner mentioned, Driscoll is just nearly a mile down the road, and of course, Bishop is just a few miles beyond that. So really impacts a lot of the communities. And so, Judge, I am open for any kind of further public gatherings to receive input on this.
Thank you.
I think-
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Yeah, I kind of echo what everybody else said, but Ms. Caballero, I think, it's Caballero, right? I agree with you. We've been having too many meetings, for sure. And you're right, we need to get things done in the regular meetings as much as possible, and I apologize for that, but, sometimes, we call meetings and we just gotta have them, right? So regardless of what the reason is, but, and I hear everybody talking today about, and I think that everything will come on the second part when you start talking about what does everybody need? What are the needs? We're always looking about jobs for our students, stuff for our children, job for everything else, and we have a lot of refiners here. They're tremendous. They're great employers, and, they're not perfect, but they're great employers. Our children go there. Some children go there, and this is how they make a living. So I think that in the western part of our county, that probably has been overlooked, probably has always said, well, let's not go there, let's go the other way. I think this is the time for the Western District to put the boots on the ground. And is Robstown asking us for that help? It'd be just the same thing as Bishop was, Agua Dulce. Whoever was asking us, we'd be doing the same thing for, this is just a start. It doesn't mean it's gonna happen, it's a start. But if we don't do it now, then Robstown's gonna lose out. They're gonna lose out. And I don't think it's fair for the Robstown people, and I know some of you talk in favor of Robstown, but evidently I know that there's more pros here than cons on the Robstown area. And when you got a school district, a college, a junior college that's trying to grow in that western part, and hopefully that they do, that Robstown's going to benefit by that also. So I'm just looking forward to hopefully, the number of jobs You know, the abatement, duration of the abatement, how much? And those are the things we have to, without the people's voice, we can't do it. We shouldn't even do it. I think we need the people's voice. I think we need the community meetings in Bishop, Driscoll, Robstown, and where else we can have them. Because I think that I just feel that at this point, I owe it to the Western District where I represent, give them the opportunity to have something out there that their children will sooner or later be working maybe in that plant. And you talk about 250 jobs, 300 jobs, whatever it is. We don't know. But we know they're gonna be guaranteeing us. They always guarantee something. And it's up to us to say how much, how many. So I think we need to move forward on this, on the first phase of it, to get it past us, to assure that Robstown will not be left behind. And this is where I support that Judge, I think we support to move forward and make sure that we hear the people that are asking us, they're saying, we need more input. We want to say other things, want to say our piece, and I think they should. You know, I think that, but this is not the time for that. This is the time to say, how can we actually help Robstown? And I think the time is by moving forward at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. In light of the commentary, are you prepared, Commissioner, to make a motion to address the reinvestment zone at this time?
So if I have, Commissioner, so move, okay, fine.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Having been a motion and a second, it would be the motion, not to put words in your mouth, but you are asking for the adoption,
The
correct?
adoption of the Robstown request.
The adoption of the reinvestment
designated.
zone number 1 in support of Robstown ISD's request.
That's right.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
And I'll just add for the clerk, please add that it's pursuant to
313.
the Texas Tax Code. All right, having had a motion and a second, are there any other discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Abstain, Judge.
Abstention, got an abstention, and 4 ayes. And the motion does pass, the effect of which is that the investment zone will be created, and then the future, if they ask at all, and let me emphasize that, if they ask at all, then there will be a very robust process to discuss what ask they might have of this county, if at all. Really dealing, as I said, with the 6 precepts that I wrote down. Let's see what their intention is for the future. All right, moving on, I'm going to move to item number 3. Estrada is willing to wait, and that way we'll take the other public comments at this time. Item number 3 is the reallocation of funds designated for the first floor expansion to be utilized for the second floor concession restaurant at Bob Hall Pier. And,
Excuse me, Judge.
yes, sir?
I make a motion that we table this. This came by surprise, and I don't think we're all prepared to talk about this right now. It's an important project, so we just need to be careful, and we don't want it to fall like the Harbor Bridge is.
So, Commissioner, there is an urgency to this.
I understand
and-
that, Judge.
Well, let me explain the urgency. The urgency is that the core permit will be pulled if we do not give them the solid affirmation that this is the direction that we're going, and therefore any delay to a future time to move forward with this is basically going to have ramifications to at least 6 months, potentially longer. And that hurts our revenue ability in the future. So here's the good news. The Coastal Parks Board already made a decision. All we're doing is clarifying an allocation. This is not us making a decision. It is clarifying how the dollars will be used. And those dollars came from Commissioner Chesney, came from myself. And so I think it's important that we get that clarity so that the permit also has clarity, as well as we adhere to the Coastal Parks Board. That's why it's on here. It's on here for urgency. This has been discussed for months and months and months, so notice here is certainly ripe. And,
Judge,
but anyway, Commissioner Modis?
And Judge, and we never talked about the urgency for the permits.
Okay,
I mean,
so
this-
again, but.
what's the
This just
timeline for
came
So
the
up.
we're, so we're not, that's because we don't do that. That's Coastal Parks Board that does that. So they have already placed those permits in the process. That's what they do. That's not in our hands. That's what they do. Because they're an independent board with independent statutory
timeline
authority.
for the
If we're the ones that are being asked to make the decision,
So the decision, all it is a clarification to basically say that the money that Commissioner Chesney and I, through our own ARPA funds, are going to be utilizing it for the highest and best purpose. Commissioner Chesney has already stated that he supports it. Coastal Parks Board does. This is truly ministerial to make sure that when we go and start allocating funds for projects, that it's done right in the record.
So this is just for the permits only?
So,
Is what you're saying?
well, yes, this would be so, well, let me go back. Two things. It's for the permit, and remember that the permit works on a foundation, right? So if you go up versus out, if you go out, you're gonna need additional foundation.
Judge, wait a minute, I think
Wait a
you're.
minute,
it's
wait a
not-
minute.
So let me, first of all, I don't support his motion to table, but respectfully, you're not right on this permitting stuff. They submitted a permit with plenty of ground floor space to where there is no delay for extension of the ground floor. The issue is gonna be on the mono versus dual, so you may be getting those two confused. That's the one where we're gonna have some debate over on October 12th. So I don't agree that this was urgent. I'm not gonna support his motion to table. I do support the second floor, but I don't agree with the assessment that you're making on the pulling of the permits. I think that's inaccurate
So-
in regards to this first, second floor status. It is going to be an argument on the mono versus dual, but because they submitted so much ground floor space thinking we might do that public space, what I was told was there is no issue on the permit whatsoever on the first and second floor. But we're here today. I don't support his motion to table. I'd like to move forward as well, but I do want to clear up that the reasons you articulated that were urgent, I don't agree with, but we're here, so let's move on, please.
All right.
So I don't
But
know if
there-
I don't know
but
if you
there's
got a
al-
second for
Let's-
his table
But
either,
there's also a
Judge.
motion made by the coastal parks that we get a third party, or that they recommend to get a third party to analyze that the second floor, what the problem would be on the second floor if we added a second floor to it. So I think if
Actually-
we're gonna vote for it.
Commissioner Chesney, can you tell him
I can.
that that's already been decided?
So that was a suggestion that this court made to the Coastal Parks Board, and they tabled that, so they took no action on it. So that is, they didn't take any action on that particular item.
so we're not talking about a second floor.
We are, yes. In other words, that was when the debate was the court previously by a 5-0 vote voted for first floor expansion, in fact, twice, voted for first floor expansion. Then I came back that day and said, hey, why don't we come up with some way to look at whether the first, because as we sit here today, we still don't have any data. We don't have any independent data on whether this will work or won't work. We are where we are, but that was my suggestion to the Parks Board, which they didn't act on, and that's fine. It was a suggestion. They can do whatever they want. I'm not offended by it. It's just, I thought, why don't we actually get an independent analysis and see if it would work? We've never done that, and the Parks Board didn't decide to do it. They decided on their own to make a recommendation to do the second story instead of the first floor expansion. My thought was we would be back here on all of this on October 12th with cost analysis, and we would have a really hardcore number on everything because I don't believe the numbers for the first floor to build are accurate. No offense to anybody involved, but I don't believe it's gonna cost $1,000 a square foot to build on the first floor. So I thought all of this was gonna be done on October 12th, but we're here today on this. So again, I mean, that's kind of the nuts and the bolts of it. Life goes on. And let me tell you, I'm gonna vote for this, but I don't, I still don't believe it's the best way to do it, but I also believe in representative government. And I've heard from the Parks Board, I've heard from the people on the island, this is what they want. So it might be the first time I'm ever gonna vote for something that I don't necessarily believe is the exact thing, right thing to do. I don't think it's the wrong thing to do. I just think a larger first floor, I will always believe is a better thing. I've said that to people. I've said it out loud. I don't disagree with that, but I also believe strongly in representative government. And, you know, Parks Board made a recommendation, as did, 600 people who signed a petition. And I hope we'll remember that when we have the mono versus dual, with the 2,100 people who signed a petition for dual pilings. I hope we'll remember that same argument we're making today in a couple of weeks, when it's going to be a little more interesting. But that said, that's where we are, and it's on the agenda. And I mean, let's vote yay or nay for the second floor and move on.
My concern is what it's gonna cost us, the county, okay, not the park board. Is anybody else gonna take responsibility in case this does get done, we get a hurricane, the second floor comes down? Who's gonna be responsible for rebuilding it?
We will.
Well, does anybody, whoever owns Michael Mays, will they be required to have any kind of insurance?
I would hope so. I would think that there would be
Yeah,
some.
they use, I mean, you can ask, but they had insurance on the first one as well.
To rebuild?
And we're still waiting to hear, I still don't have a definitive answer on whether or not the claim we made on that was included in the settlement that we got on the
my
Harvey
next
stuff,
question.
or it wasn't, because we have insurance on the buildings on the ground, or we did.
Yeah.
And they have been insurable in the past. My hope would be they would continue to be insurable in the future.
The difference is, as you know, Hurricane Hannah changed the profile of our beach. It changed it, and we've had those surveys done, and now where you had sand, you now have water. That's a completely different situation, and it's not 1,000 square feet vertical because you're dealing with square footage. It's 1,000 square feet, 1,000 square feet, it's not 1,000 square feet horizontal because you're dealing just with square footage. It's because you're dealing with barges and pilings in the water. So it's not square footage like you would calculate a home. The reason it's so expensive to go this way is because of the work that it takes in the water. That's the game changer for it. It's the equipment, it's the time factor that takes, plus those pilings. But as you said, we can move forward, but it's not apples to apples when you say it's X dollars a square foot going this way and why. The reason that this is so much cheaper is because you're not dealing with structure in the water. And that's why your demobilization is almost a $3 million price tag. It is super expensive to work in the water. It just is, and for obvious reasons. The Western Gulf is it's a tough place. It's rough, and you've got to have the right equipment, the right expertise. You can only work certain times of year. You've got environmental species concerns. It's in 100% different environment. And again, what changed? Hannah changed it. The profile of the beach is no longer the beach we had before. If we could work on sand, it would have been great, but we can't. Why? Because Hannah changed the profile of the beach. And that is why it's so very, very different. But
Are we prepared, Judge, to pay all this extra costs? I mean, right now, we're suffering because we need roofs that need to be fixed in county buildings.
Well, Commissioner, it's a very good question, but these dollars, we each made a decision,
I understand
kind
that,
of. Let me just finish, if you don't mind. I'll come right back to you. We each made a decision some time back that out of our big allocation from American Rescue Plan, that each commissioner would have the opportunity to make decisions that they thought were in the best, interest of Nueces County. And you guys have some awesome projects. Each of us actually do. And one thing Commissioner Chesney and I made a decision on is that we would each take dollars from our ARPA allocation. We qualified them through the eligibility process. And we believe this investment in this public infrastructure will have a very high rate of return in the revenue model. And so we believe that we have no disrespect to any other engineering company, because they're all amazing, particularly those that we have here in our community with Coastal. But Jacobs Engineering is well regarded and widely recognized as the #1 engineering company in the world with regards to the way they assess, you know, how you have college rankings, there's always rankings for everybody in the world, and Jacobs is number one in the world. So I feel, yes, very confident that they
understand
will
that,
build that resilient, no one can ever, you know, predict what Mother Nature will do, but I can assure you that the engineering team that this court has wisely selected brings forth the expertise that will give us the resilient building.
Okay,
This,
can I
and
say-
this is my concern, Judge, also with the engineering. Well, it's been, what, about 2 months ago that Jacobs Engineering was here and asking for more money because they forgot to add something to the,
No, I think it was, sir, that the contract did not address the need that we had asked
They
for.
left it out.
no, they left out a certain important thing
They knew.
for the drawings, Judge. And then when I asked them, how come y'all didn't say anything? It's because y'all didn't ask. And that took almost another $1 million from the county money, Judge.
Well, I don't believe that that's accurate,
It
but
is accurate, Judge.
They
Well-
did leave some out, but it wasn't $1 million.
It was not $1 million.
It was
about-
$700 and some odd thousand.
well, Commissioner, again, it's inside the budget, whether it was in one line item or in another line item, we can debate, but that's not what's before us here today. What is before us here today is the item, and I would ask that we allow the process of democracy to go forward.
Well, let me get some democracy, Judge. Can I speak a little bit? You've been
Absolutely,
talking-
and don't forget, I have to have some public comment, but let's go have you do it,
You've
and
been
then we'll
talking-
call for the public.
Okay, let me just, in democracy style, I think that, I'm not against the restaurant. Nothing wrong with the restaurant. I'm against the bar. But you know, and you said you, Commissioner Chesney, put in your monies from your ARPA funds. Well, don't forget that $26 million is what we agreed to give the pier. I mean, we could have given more money to the Western District, to the Western area. We didn't, because we agreed to put $26 million, the Commissioner's Court, on the pier, to build the pier. We got against the pier. The pier should be rebuilt. The first floor should be there. The expansion should be there. The second floor should not be there, because that's not what we talked about at the beginning. It was brought up later. And you know, we've been catering to a restaurant that hasn't put any money into the restaurant. And I don't know, maybe county auditor can tell us how much money was given to us from the insurance company, if they were insured, and how much money they given to the county. I'd like to find out, you know?
I can check on that and get back to you.
Yeah, would you please? Because, you know, again, I'm gonna just tell you, you know, that coastal parks, you know, and I'm really disappointed that from the beginning, we built this restaurant, bar, with grant money that belonged to the county and taxpayers' money, without authorization. And I'm really disappointed in Parks and Wildlife, GLO, for allowing that to happen. And we were penalized by Department of Justice, $850,000, that we agreed to build Caldwell Pier to almost to the liking of this pier here, so we wouldn't be in trouble. That's not right. You know, and I know, and I'm sorry that you want, nobody's trying to take away the pier, nobody's taking away the restaurant, nobody's trying to take out the first floor, believe me. I support that. I don't support the second floor because when a hurricane comes, it's gonna be the first to go. We don't have an insurance, never had an insurance on the pier. That's why we're struggling now. Now, if Michael May wants to put an insurance on the second floor, that in case it goes down, they're gonna cover it, I'd be glad to hear that. And maybe support it. Because if not, you're gonna come back to us. Coastal Parks ain't gonna pay for it. It's easy for them to vote on something they're not gonna pay for. Everything comes back to us. And it's a shame that we had to do the things to do to build something that wasn't, that no money was put in by the rest. It should have gone out for bids. We should have given the same opportunity to anybody else that wanted to bid for that restaurant because it was built with grant money and taxpayers' money. We should have gone out for bids. You know, from a restaurant, the seafood restaurant, steakhouse, whatever it is, we should have given our community the same opportunity to invest in it. Same opportunity to be able to run a restaurant. I don't support a bar because somebody gets drunk and they go kill themselves. Who's gonna be responsible? GLO, Parks and Wildlife, Coastal Parks, the county? I think they all should be responsible. So I'm gonna keep on bringing this up because it's something that people need to know.
Commissioner, I'm going to
Commissioners,
ask
no,
for public
I'm
comment.
talking, Judge, I'm talking. I'm gonna tell you what you just told me when I'm talking.
Okay,
if I
I
interrupt.
thought you were finished. Go
I'm
ahead.
not finished, thank you. So I'm just want to let you know, people, I don't have anything against the restaurant, and I don't think Commissioner Hernandez either. No. I just want to tell you how this all got started. And for us to agree to put $26 million into the pier to help Commissioner Chesney to consider with the pier, it's not that we don't support it, we support it. They put $1 million each from their funds. The 26 came from all of us. So I just want to let you know, people, that nobody's trying to take away your restaurant. We just want to make sure you're done right. And we should give people other opportunity. When this contract comes up, other people should be online to be able to bid for that. Thank you.
Judge,
Thank
can I just
you.
make a motion at this point?
Go ahead.
And it's a little lengthy because I've got some other things I want to.
We were in a motion.
We were in a
We're
motion,
in a
just
motion.
for a second. He didn't
That
have a
was.
second.
I didn't hear.
There was,
Okay.
there was
I didn't
never
hear
a
him.
second
There-
for Hernandez?
There was never a
No,
second.
Oh, no, that was his motion to
I
table.
thought that was.
I didn't hear a
Okay.
second for the
Table.
table.
Okay, I'm
I did
sorry.
not hear one.
Thought there was.
Okay, there was not.
Okay.
Second Hernandez
So I,
motion?
Oh, you did?
I did.
Yeah, yes,
Okay.
see?
You
My
did.
bad. I
Yes,
didn't
he
hear.
did.
okay,
So
well,
need
we
to vote on
didn't,
that
we
first.
didn't hear you. Okay, so all those in favor of tabling this motion signify, well, first of all, hold on. Well, no, with the table, well, we've gone in through all this discussion.
Well, I
I
didn't-
have to be honest with you.
I didn't
If there
hear it.
was a table, why did he have the ability to have all that
I didn't hear the
discussion?
second, Judge. I don't know.
I didn't, Joe, I was asleep.
But in the spirit of that, I will take the vote, but I do think that since he's had the opportunity to discuss, even though typically, guys, we don't discuss,
Just a table.
there's about 10 things that I'd like to make sure the record is reflective of,
we
and I
can
don't
af-
think
We
that.
can after we make
Yeah,
after you make,
okay.
after I make a
I
motion.
will do that,
Yeah, if you-
please.
Can we just do that?
Yes.
I didn't hear a second.
That's
Judge, or I
fine.
would've cut that
I
out,
just
too.
need to clear the record.
That's fair.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. This is for the table.
Aye.
And opposed, same side, no.
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 Okay, so that motion fails, and so, I'd like to make a motion to, consider the reallocation of funds, designated for the first floor, to be used for the second floor. And again, to be very specific, Madam Clerk, you'll recall, we'll have to look up the minutes at that point in time, but Commissioner Chesney and I, through the funding source of ARPA, $1 million each, provided it. Doesn't change funding at all. It stays the same. It's just the clarity to reflect the will of Coastal Parks Board, that those dollars be utilized in a different way to the second floor. And I'll look for a second.
Judge, I've got
You have some ads?
Yeah, I do. And I wrote this out because it's long. I wanted to put some extra stuff on.
Okay,
it
well, hold
because-
on one second. Let me see if I can get,
Well, it's my money.
okay, we'll see what the,
Yeah, I was just
I
gonna see
know,
if
but
you'll
just
accept this, so-
procedurally, I always like to ask for the second.
I was just gonna.
And what you should do is just tell me you want to add some stuff.
Right. Well, before I was gonna
You'll
ask you-
second and then add.
No, I was gonna ask you if you'll accept this.
Okay, let's hear
before I
it.
second.
Let's
Okay,
hear
so
it.
my motion is, well, I wrote it out to reallocate the first floor expansion ARPA funds to use for second story expansion on Bob Hall Pier or any other Bob Hall Pier expansion that the funds may be needed for and qualify for. As part of this motion, I would also move that the county manager hire an independent authority to provide a fair market value for the amount that should be charged for rent for the space. That analysis shall be the basis of the rent negotiations for the new space, shall be provided to the Parks Board and Commissioners Court. Further, the independent analysis shall have no outside influence by Commissioners Court, Parks Board, vendor, or anyone else that can be truly, so it can be truly an independent finding. The final results shall be provided to the Parks Board and Commissioners Court in an open meeting, and the funding of up to $15,000 for this analysis shall be provided by Precinct 4, which is me, Commissioner COs. And Judge, the part of what I was saying earlier was.
Hold on.
We're.
I accept it,
Okay.
and I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. All right.
And now just a little bit of correction before I call the vote. And I'm certain that Commissioner Gonzalez sort of understands it just in his way. But number one, Texas Parks and Wildlife, if you're listening, you had nothing to do with Bob Hall Pier. And I want to make sure that, or the concession stand, it was not Texas Parks and Wildlife. It was U.S. Fish and Wildlife. And it was a particular grant. And the same thing with the General Land
Incorrect,
Office.
Judge.
They had absolutely nothing to do with it, and we don't ask for their assistance at all with regards to the building of that structure, and so they don't have anything to do with it. And there was never a DOJ consent decree. That had to do with the American Disabilities Act that we had the DOJ situation. So none of those were accurate. And then also, this was a competitively procured contract. It's important to know that. And we are in the middle of that contract. Why is the contract in the middle? Because, of course, it had an expiration on it, and we have not gotten to the term yet, per force majeure clause having to do with Hurricane Hannah. So it's really important for the community to know these are competitively procured contracts. They're in the middle of that contract, and therefore, that's important to make certain. And as far as whatever requirements regarding risk management, insurance, it's contained inside the contract by the contract clauses that are developed by Nueces County and approved by this court whenever that was. If you get into a new contract, you can make any requirements that you so choose and vote on and direct, but it just makes certain that everything you said that I just corrected is important to correct the record. And also, finally, when we built I went back, I wasn't here, but when I went back to the records, it was not built for a restaurant and bar. It was built for an observation deck. That observation deck we always maintain with U.S. Fish and Wildlife was built, and the appropriate pieces of that grant were there. They disagreed. We created a great solution, and as a result, we've got Horace Caldwell observation deck, which was also a very much a priority for coastal parks. It now serves as an outdoor teaching facility and classroom. It's supported by 10 different organizations. Those are the things that I think are important to balance the actual record. And it's okay to have different perspectives, but it's not okay to cite different agencies because they would be very upset if we said it was you when it wasn't. So at any rate, we've got to make sure all those changes are a part of it. So with that, we've got an opportunity to move forward with the rest of our agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Yes, yes,
This is the motion for the item, or just the motion?
yes.
just to-
The motion for item number 1. I'm sorry, item number 3.
So, I know I stepped out. Did we miss public comment on this item? or-
No, we didn't. I'm sorry. I have public comment. We'll hold for that. Mr. Ted Morris signed up. There was one more, if you'll help me. Who else signed up?
Mr.
Rachel and
Thank you, Commissioner.
one more? And Maynardone. Okay.
Mendoza.
Well, it's okay. We can do everybody all at once, and we'll ask for online as well. Go ahead, Mr.
Hi,
Morris.
Thanks for allowing me this time. My name is Ted Morris. I live on Punta Espada Loop on the island, walking distance from the pier in question. That's where I'm coming from, is to promote and to encourage you guys to vote for the reallocation of the funds to build a second floor versus expansion of the bottom floor. I think both plans are good, but if you put the numbers to it, looking at, I guess I'm coming through okay. Looking at the numbers, I appreciate your explanation of the square footage and not being able to compare, but when you get 5,000 square foot for the $2 million that was approved and allotted for that, it just makes better sense to me. In addition, or I should have said earlier, I am one person speaking for a whole group of people that we've come together. And in essence of time, all you guys have heard a lot of what I have to say, but we did that to save you guys some time and save everyone some time, so. We've, in addition to the persons that we've talked to, and normally we'd have a whole group of people here, we have petitions that are well over 600 signatures deep, as well as letters of support and recommendation from the Padre Island Business Association, as well as the Texas Restaurant Association, their support in advancing with the second floor versus the bottom floor expansion. So I just jotted down a few bullet points to talk about or to put out there. And it was said today that the Parks Board met, and I was at that meeting, unanimously agreed to go with the second floor, and therefore made their recommendations to you guys. So we are in lack of a nice venue out on the Padre Island to have meetings. We've lost, as you know, we lost the country club when Schlitterbahn moved in, then the demise of Schlitterbahn, that was gone. In addition to the Harvey damaged Port Royal facility, that leaves us with minimal spaces inside conference rooms of hotels. So there's not much to speak of as far as venues for the community to have area business meetings, banquets, charitable fundraising events, conferences, music events, destination weddings, and so much more. The completion of, if it's approved, the completion of the second floor will put a facility on our island we're so proud of, that is unlike anything on the Texas Gulf Coast. So in addition to providing to the local community, that will be a destination for visitors to come to and that we can all be proud of. So I'm asking you to please vote and allot the funds that have been approved for the building of the second floor. Thank you.
Thank you. And then I'm looking back at my notes, there was also, and only because I'm struggling here with my glasses, is it Horton? Mr. Dan Horton? Could be Houston?
He left, Judge.
He did?
He was back in the back row and then he left.
Okay, thank you. I'll call for Rachel Caballero and then see if anybody else is online.
Hello, again. I'm talking on behalf of the, some individuals that are part of the Padre Island Business Association that can't be here, that are against the second floor build out. The issue here is, and I think that you guys have lost the big picture, is whenever there was tyrannical decisions made here to shut down all the small businesses, a lot of our businesses got shut down. A lot of people do not understand why a private community member is receiving so much taxpayer money for a restaurant that is not owned by the taxpayer. I have a list of small business owners that are restaurant owners that would love to receive $2.5 million of taxpayer money to add a second floor to their restaurant. They would love it. But you guys aren't handing that out to them. Why? Why does this specific business owner get that treatment? So we have to understand this, you know, you're talking about weddings, venues, and meetings. There's plenty of places on the island to have meetings. There's plenty of places on the island. If people are gonna have a beach wedding, usually they have it on the sand, but whatever. But Cat 3 or Cat 5, up to Cat 5, will wipe out a second floor. That's just common sense, whether it's insured by the local business owner or not. We have to start using common sense here because this is what we require of you as elected employees, to use common sense and understand that if you are going to give a sole taxpayer $2.5 million to keep her restaurant going, then you have to do that for the rest of the business owners. There's many restaurateurs who would love an opportunity to be able to bid out at that pier. Why haven't they been given the opportunity to do that? What is with the special treatment happening on this court? That is a reasonable question. So outside of the people that are here that are speaking for the second floor, most of the other folks, they have jobs, can't be here, they're running their restaurants, but they don't understand why you guys are feeding one particular business, all giving them only the opportunity to represent that particular peer. And it should have been an observation deck. It should still be. And let the private business owners figure out a way to create a venue. We shouldn't be paying for this as taxpayers. This is getting really, really difficult to come here and explain this to people who, seem to know business. And so, on behalf of the people that aren't in agreement with PIBA, and their endorsement with this individual, that they don't approve of the second floor, and as a taxpayer, we don't approve of one individual getting $2.5 million of taxpayer money.
Okay. The last person is May Mendoza. Anybody else that we missed earlier? Okay, that's all I've got too. Sure, just to the clerk or to the court manager?
For each of them, and then I also have a letter from the Potter Island Business Association.
Go ahead and give it to her.
And also a business letter from the Texas Restaurant Association in support.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. Just send it to Maggie. She can do that for you. That way you don't have to leave. We're going to make copies for everybody. That's what we were saying. Okay. Okie dokie.
You ready, Judge?
I am. Just let's give Idea a chance to clear the visual here. Okay. You may proceed.
Thank you, Judge and Commissioners. I was going to try to make this short and sweet, but I feel like I've been personally attacked, so I feel like I need to address a few things because I'm tired of being blamed for things that I have not done. So first, Ms. Caballero, the reason that I am the person that they're rebuilding for, they're not rebuilding it for me, they're rebuilding a concessionaire, a building. I have the current contract. I got that contract in 2013. I was awarded that contract. I'm in the middle of my contract, so my contract is on hold until we rebuild. If somebody else wants to get it, when my contract is up, they can all put in for the contract to put in for being the concessionaire. So there has not been any favoritism to me at all. In fact, quite the contrary. I've gotten beaten up over and over and over and over again by commissioners here as well. And it's not fair because I've worked very hard for that restaurant. I used to be president a long time ago of the Potter Island Business Association. This is how I found out about this restaurant. I found out that it was up for bid back in 2012. And so I would see one restaurant after another. It seemed like every 6 months there was a change of hands. And I have somebody back here that can confirm that. Our director, Scott Cross, over and over and over, nobody could make it work. Every 6 months we were at a new ribbon cutting. So when I found out it was open for bid, I got a business partner and I said, I would love to have this place. I know what to do to make this successful. And guess what? I did. And I've put a lot of money up there, Commissioner Gonzalez, to make that place successful. And yes, I have insurance. It's a requirement. And I have plenty of insurance to cover the county because you're an additional insured. So rest assured, nothing's going to come back on you. Now, I'm also an insurance agent, as you know. So as an insurance agent, I kind of know a thing or two about construction. I myself, when I built my last house, I built it with concrete walls and a metal roof. Why? Because it withstands 200-mile-per-hour wind. That's what we will have at Ball Paul Pier. You can hardly get something that big, even with a Cat 5. It would be pretty darn close. But with the new construction that they're going to build up here, it should be fine. First floor versus second floor, if you look at the second page that I gave you, the second page is a letter from a builder that I deal with. In fact, he built my house, who does construction with ICF walls. And it says, there is no proof that a second floor would withstand more damage than a first floor. Now back to my insurance hat. whenever I have claims, let me tell you what the majority of the claims are, and y'all know this is true. It's to roofs. Why? Because of the pressure causing the uplift of the roof. So we have more square footage. So let's say we have the same 10,000, I'm just going to use a number out there. 10,000 square feet, first floor. You have now more square footage with a roof that's going to be more susceptible to damage if nothing else happens to your roof that will shut it down. Second floor. Oh, we go up. So guess what? We have less square footage on the roof, correct? So of course, you're not going to have as much damage. As far as the walls and it breaking down, that is not true. If anything, a second floor is better because of tidal surge. You may have damage on a first floor without any damage on the second floor. So that is not true that you're going to get more damage from a second floor versus a first floor. As far as restaurants, I
I'm gonna
care a
have
lot
you-
about restaurants.
I'm going to have you just wrap it up, just
Okay,
because
I
of the
care a lot
time.
about restaurants, and I know a lot of restaurant owners. I fight in DC all the time for these restaurant owners. I'm always trying to find more money for restaurant owners. If they want it, then let them come and have at it when it opens up for bid. But to be picking on me, who has worked so hard, it is just not fair, and I'm not going to have it anymore. I was not the concessionaire when that was built. It was built before me. It was built in 2011. When it was completed, I did not take over till 2013. So I'm sorry. I appreciate that Judge, you and Commissioner Chesney have given $1 million from your ARPA funds, and I would hope that you would vote with the Park Board and more citizens, even in town, that all signed the petition that said they're in favor. So thank you for your time, and I appreciate your vote for the second floor.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. That does conclude the public comment. Thanks for catching it.
And Judge, from,
Yes, sir?
I kind of held back on this because I wanted to hear the public first before kind of going in to sharing my comments. I definitely agree with the direction that Commissioner Gonzalez and Hernandez were trying to take. I think it's a statement worth repeating again in the community that that's a lot of money that we agreed to and supported, but that could have been put in other parts of the county. So I think that, I hope that most of us agree to that, because that was a commitment that we made for the community, right? Because it was a catastrophic event that happened, something that no one really maybe saw, or maybe in hindsight saw, but we didn't expect it to happen with something as minimal as Hannah. You could have said Harvey, then we could have expected it, but Hannah was not as strong a storm as Harvey was, or some of the others that we've had in the past. My concern also is the concern that have been brought up in the community, and it's good to see the support from the business community on this, and I know that there are some that would say, why should any kind of public asset be given to a private entity? That's the same argument that I know that could be made with the City of Corpus Christi and American Bank Center. It's run by a private management organization. We have, our fairgrounds facility also is run by a private management group. So it happens, whether it's right or wrong. I mean, that's, I guess, where the debate is. But for me, I want to make sure that this is just done right. I want to make sure it's done for the best way to have it prepared and unveiled and built and be utilized for years, decades to come. My background, not being an engineer or anything like that, and others are that truly understand, as far as the impact of wind or waves. I think if we get another Hurricane Hannah that comes in right the same way, same direction, same type of wave that came in, I would hope that this new design would withstand that. I mean, that's kind of what the claim has been. That's what at least has been presented over these months that we've been tackling this item, but we don't know, right? We simply don't know. And then there's a separate item also as far as single and double, and I'll go on record now and say I support double. I always have, no matter how passionate people come in here and think that they know what we're thinking. No, you're not a mind reader. No, you don't know that. No, I think that in the end that this court will support a pier that is set up to be utilized by our locals and tourists alike for years to come, that support ecotourism, which includes surf riding. But I do want to see something that flourishes. I want to see something that's better than before. And despite putting that much money in, and I've given Commissioner Chesney a hard time, not tongue-in-cheek, but actually a hard time about, hey, we're giving you, not you, it's unfair to say you, right? We're giving the community at the pier a lot of money, right? Whoever uses it. We've gone to that before. Precinct 3 residents use it, Precinct 2, Precinct 1. We all utilize this, and then tourists alike. I want it done the best way. I want it done the right way. I want it done nicely. And it was nice before, but why can't we have better? I think this goes to the conversation we had earlier about economic development. Why can't we have better? And I think the way we can do that by being better is having these tough questions. I'm like you, Judge. I mean, I write down, I don't know where my notes were from the previous economic development discussion that we had earlier. Here they are. But it's not we're looking down, it's that we're writing notes to make the best points, because I, like you, I like to capture those great ideas that everyone's bringing up, right? Because it's not just, oh, I have my mindset. It's like, okay, what about the environment? What about economic development, water, all these different things that were on that item earlier. Same thing here. We didn't have as many speakers, but writing down what each person has been bringing up. Those are concerns to me. And as a policymaker, as a decision maker up here, 1 of 5, you know, it's not a done deal. You know, I feel that I come up here maybe leaning one way. Maybe I feel like, okay, I really can support going one way or the other. But we rely on hearing from y'all in person, and thankfully now that we have this option of virtual, that we can hear as many people as possible. And so that's what today is about. You know, it's a little bit of, Commissioner, like, you were a little bit of what the judge was saying, maybe not so much. And so I think that's okay where we're at, right? Right? Maybe we agree on most of it, maybe not all of it. I'm okay with that. I think that's about being up here and really finding our niche and working together when we share different perspectives. So my perspective is this: I want it to be done right. I want it to be done nice. I want it to be a great draw. If with your motion, Commissioner, is that to redirect someone new, or everyone gets a chance at it, or what is that motion? Help me clarify that a little bit.
The ARPA fund, I'm sorry, the ARPA funds that the judge and I put in, is that what you're at? Or
Well, you made the motion about the 15,000 that you're putting in.
You're saying,
that's to pay for the independent assessment.
And the assessment is, again, remind me what that's for?
For fair market value on what to charge for the space. We don't have
Okay.
any
'Cause
data on what
we
to
don't know what
charge for
to-
this,
Okay.
what it's worth. We haven't done anything like that. And I don't know how else to go into those negotiations when that happens, but to do something like that. So that's the part of that motion that should have been done a long time ago, honestly.
And I'm in favor of that, okay? So I think that that's being fair, right? We're not trying to give away any item that's an asset, an investment of the community, something that's under market. If it's market and we're maybe able to make that money or make more of it because they're fruitful in their business, then great. But at least let's make it to where we understand how much to charge, how much we should be making, however that works, I'm okay with that, right? So if that's what the intent is, I'm good with moving forward with that.
Yes, sir.
it just dawned on me, I'm gonna interrupt just for a second, because you got a spark heading maybe it goes without saying, but you know, there's also in our built-in amenities, another little sundry shop as well, and a bait stand. And so if this 15,000 that you're putting
absolutely.
forth
Needs to be
could
for
help
everything.
with all of those amenities as well, right? Because
Different-
that's,
It's a different subject, I think.
Well, no, I mean, in
no,
other words,
it's the idea that the county is gonna be revenue making
Now,
with
it's not
these
what's on
amenities.
here.
but some of those are not,
Not
like
on
some of those will
the
be used by Scott Cross, right? So they're gonna
Right.
use part of it.
But the
right?
concession, piece of it, I imagine that there would be like,
I think that's, at this point, I
Go
think that's just gonna be county stuff, right?
you're
Scott?
gonna run the
Yeah,
snacks.
We've always ran the pier part of it. We've
Yeah.
always ran the
Okay.
pier part of
So
it.
it's only the.
But this is
So
brand new.
The cost benefit return on investment is proven year after year. Auditors can substantiate that. That, we don't want to mess with that model.
Right.
It makes money.
360,000.
But the free, I'm not talking about the bait or the poles. I'm talking
Yeah.
about the new place that's designed like for
gift shop?
floaties.
No, that's gonna
No,
be.
that's something else. It's,
No, that's gonna be Scott's too. In other words, now that the.
Can we go
that
back
was
to
what-
number 3?
anyway, we'll get to that later.
Okay.
I was just saying that when you have someone
Are
who.
you going to execute this $15,000 with somebody, or do I need to worry about that?
The county manager's gonna do it.
Okay.
Well, it'll come to court, or just go through a PO.
Yeah, I just making sure what my responsibility is.
Yeah, that's why I said, I directed for the county manager to do it independently, and that way nobody
Oh,
has
yeah.
any,
Yeah.
right, so you don't
Right.
get stuck in between anything or.
Yeah.
But it'll be their decision to take that information and go forward. Okay, thank
I do
you.
have something to say, Justice.
Go ahead.
My name was thrown out there, and I'm not gonna mention anybody else's name either, but I'm gonna just kind of thank Commissioner Manes for bringing it up again, that the $26 million for the pier came from all of us. Not just 1 million. The $26 million came from the whole Commissioners Court. Thank you.
Very good. All right, having had a brisk discussion and public comment, with a motion on the floor as by previously amended by Commissioner Chesney and seconded by myself, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
No.
Got 2 noes and 3 ayes, and the motion does pass and carry. We'll move to receive presentation from Estrada Hinojosa. We thank him for his patience. It's regarding financial options for the Nueces County Enterprise Resource Planning System, replacement of time clocks to include public property financing, contractual obligation, tax notes, COs, other available financing options, and related matters. And I will be right back as well. I'll be right back. Well, just nobody else go, please. I'll be right back.
Should I take
Because
this,
there's only 3 of us. 'cause we-
should I take this personal? You and
As I
Chesney
said,
out?
It is what it is, sir. I'll be right back.
Thank you.
Brought in Mr. Hassel, so I don't know.
Hey, I brought my bodyguard.
You got the floor, Mr. Hinojosa.
Thank you. Let's see, what did I do with my pen? I got it. Okay. Noé Hinojosa with Stroy Hinojosa and Company, and with me is Tony Hasso, one of my partners in San Antonio. Basically, what's in front of you, it's a very preliminary plan of finance for a project related to equipment, software. I've had a discussion by email and in person with a few individuals that are going to be affected by this. Thank you for coming back, Commissioner Chesney. I thought you were going to ignore me.
I'd never ignore you, man. I might throw things at you, but I'd never ignore you.
Good. I'm glad you have that glass there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're just getting started. What's before you is contemplating funding this software for the county auditor's office. We talked back in February. We're back at it again. I wanted to go to memory lane on page 2 to tell you where you are as far as your debt is concerned. You got, as you can see on page 2 on the left corner, about 9 bond issues that are currently outstanding for a total of about $166 million. The graph below it is bars in blue and gray. Gray is the interest cost. The red line is the equivalent to your tax levy. And basically, that's how your debt is structured right now. So as you can see, in 2022, your payments were somewhere around $14 million in change. And in 23, they're moving on up, considering the fact that property values were going to go up. And we also assumed that you would keep the tax rate that we had in previous years at the same level. Well, if you go over to the right-hand corner, you'll see that the ratings from Moody's and S&P are a AA2 and a AA by S&P, and Moody's AA2. And there, the component there to talk about is the INS tax rate. So your tax rate since 2020 has been gradually dropping from a 31.16 cents per 100 of assessed value to now 29.17, almost 2 pennies. And literally, that tax rate's come down 2 pennies, and by virtue of the fact that property values have gone up, as you can see, TAV, that's in billions. So it went from 30 billion in 2020 to 36 billion in 23. The levy, despite the fact that the tax rate's gone down by 2 cents, you've been able to collect an additional $12 million over that same period of time. So All in all, lower tax rate, more tax levy, and that's what you have in front of you. On page 3, the current debt model shows, as I said earlier, on the fourth column from left to right, you had in 2022 payments of $14.5 million. In 23, it's contemplated to be 15.6.
What page are you on?
Page 3,
Okay.
on the fourth column from left to right. Existing debt service. So if you do nothing about any financings for the foreseeable future, that's your payment structure. And you pay that by using two things. One, using your interest and sinking fund tax rate, which is your third column from right to left, and your savings account, which is a little rectangle on the right-hand corner that shows $3,002,000. That's what's in your savings account in this particular fund. In 21, your fund balance in this particular account was about $3,008,000. So every time that we come to the court in anticipation of keeping the tax rate at the same level, the tax levy for that matter, we've always contemplated using a portion of that fund balance, the savings account. It's not uncommon for counties your size that when you set a tax rate, setting up a tax rate a lot of times may allow you to collect more surplus revenues, whether it comes by virtue of delinquencies or penalties associated with delayed payments. So a lot of times that fund balance gets accumulated because of that. So what we've done is use that fund balance to offset having to raise the tax rate to where you really need to be at. And if you can see on that same column, if you right now have $3.2 billion, very likely, if you borrow nothing, you'll end up with about $1.6 million in a couple of years, because we're using the savings account to offset the tax rate to get you to where you want to be on that tax rate. So last year, in 2022, tax rate 21, we were at 4.47 cents for INS. This year, you dropped it by a quarter of a cent to 4.2 cents, and that's on the third column there. So that's what happens with your debt. Now, we've been asked, well, what if want to finance this equipment? First of all, what can we finance it with? So there are 3 options out there that you can use for financing. One is a very unusual note that we called PPFCOs, which is personal property finance contractual obligations, and that's power given by the state legislature for cities and counties to use this type of contract to borrow for equipment. This is equipment for the most part, if not all of it, and we just assumed in an effort to protect, I'm assuming purchasing rules and laws, we don't want to disclose the amount that is going to be financeable, but because we got some bids that I think are coming before you at your next meeting. But let's just assume that if you were to borrow $6 million, over 10 years, the interest rate you will get is about a 3.84%, and your payments are in that blue quadrant on the page 4. So if you look at your payments, they're structured over 10 years, and they're in the neighborhood of about $700,000 on average. If you do that and add it to your current debt, and you keep the tax rate, again, the same as you did this year, your savings account is going to drop into the negative by 2025, 2026. You will deplete the $3 million, and you would have no savings account in this particular fund unless you levy a higher tax rate. We're using already some assumptions for growth in property values, but we're just keeping it at no more than 3.5% for 1 year. So then if in fact, if you want to protect, and I suggest we do our best to protect our savings account and that fund balance, there's another thing you can do. If you turn to page 5, and that is simultaneous with this loan, if this loan is gonna be 6, you're gonna have to do something about it, or whatever you do. But if you do something else, if you wanna do this $6 million in an effort to preserve the savings account, I would suggest you consider doing a restructuring of a portion of your $165 million of your debt, about $5 million or $6 million of debt, so that you don't have to sacrifice the savings account and not impact the tax rate. And that's the two solutions, the two-step solution on page 5. Page 6.
No, wait a minute, where is where do you show that 6% that would borrow? Is that the one that's 6480?
Yes. That will be a refunding.
But we would borrow in 6655?
Well, forget about what you need to borrow. Think of, if you go over to page 2, on page 2, there are 9 loans. There are 9 loans there.
Okay.
And the very bottom loan, it's a CO issued in 2015. There's an outstanding par amount of $13.5 million. The callable amount, the callable portion that you can actually tell the bondholder, hey, you know what, I don't want to pay you at the pre-agreed interest rates back in 2015. I'm going to take a portion of the $10,740,000, only $6 million, what is it? I want to take $6,480,000 out of that 10 million plus and exchange those bonds. Why? Because it's going to give you some relief on the first 3 years. If you look at that column in beige, look at the first 3 years. They're in parentheses, 677, 715, 365. Those are going to be reductions in your payment structure in an effort to preserve your fund balance, your savings account. So you're exchanging that. And that will get us not to where we want to be in the savings account, but at least you don't deplete it to having a negative number in 2-3 years from now.
Okay.
There's been questions to me about, well, what if we borrow longer? If you borrow longer, that also helps you by virtue of the fact that your payments are lower, kind of like a 30-year mortgage versus a 15-year mortgage. Well, we're talking about maybe why we go out 10 years, maybe let's go out 12. Well, even at 12 on page 6, you still get into the hole, a lesser hole, but you'll still be in the hole by 2025 with about $200,000 because your savings account is dropping. And if we lost ratings last time, it was a combination of your general fund balance, which, by the way, congratulations, you guys been improving the general fund balance, but the INS fund balance is now getting to be a little bit in the red side. So that's my presentation today. I'll entertain any questions you may have.
So you're saying if we borrow 648 from the 1074 on page 2?
Yes.
That's going to, it stays the same because we borrowing 6, so actually the 6 won't be there no more. So it gives a balance of 4?
That's right.
474, right?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
So how many years do we have to pay that back?
Well, if you think about it, if you go to page 2, the bonds today were issued in 15. The last maturity is going to be in 2035. A lot of the bonds we've sold here in this county have been out 20 years. So we're not extending the debt. We're just modifying the principal. And just follow me. It's kind of like on page, if you stay with that page 5, where you see the blue square, that's the new money loan. That's the new loan. You got $6 billion assumed that you're going to borrow to pay for the equipment. Look at the principal column. So just like the principal on this loan, you had principal on the Series 2015 that were proposed to restructure. So you take out principal, enough principal, to create that window and not have to, for that matter, not have to increase tax rate or deplete the savings account in this fund balance. Other than that, if you don't do that, then you're gonna have to raise taxes to finance this project.
And there'll be a separate payment you have to make on the 6 million? How much would it be?
Yeah, basically, the payments, you get to save money on the front end of the 2022 bond. Let's say that you do this. So in 2022, you save 677, 715, and 365 on those first 3 years in comparison to what you're paying for the 2015. But since, and this is where we need the help, we need the help in the next 3 years. So after that, in the fourth year, your payments go higher by 285.
Okay, anybody else have any questions?
Yes, I have a question. Noe, I always appreciate you giving us the county comparables, the top 25.
Oh, thank you, yeah, I didn't get to that section.
Yeah, on page 10 of our packet.
Yeah.
It's helpful because that's the data I really like looking at, because I try to look at the bigger picture. I know you're always going to have our interest, and I think I've always supported every recommendation you bring to us. How does your recommendation, does that have any impact on this bottom line? Because when I look at this, I look at the ratings, the rating structures, the three main organizations. Of course, we don't use Fitch, but we do use the S&P, the Standard & Poor's, and Moody's.
That's right, sir.
And so, like you mentioned earlier, we're doing our job in that our reserve is going up, so that's helping us.
General fund.
I'm sorry, the general fund. But that the problem was maybe the INS is what you said, right?
Yes, interest and sinking fund.
So that's my concern. So what you're recommending, does that have any bearing? Will that help us see any improvement in this bottom? To me, this is the bottom line. I don't know if that actually is in finance, bonding terms, but
Yeah.
to me, that's what I look at. I compare us to the other top 25 counties. Most of the categories, most of the columns we're doing pretty well on average where we're at. 16 population. In ratings, we're number 15, taxable assessed value for 2022, 15. Total general obligation debt, we're at number 10. So there's some areas that we're at least average, a little bit better average, or much better than what we probably should be.
Yeah.
But that's my concern, is what does your recommendation today do for, does it have any bearing at all? Is it too tiny of an amount we're dealing with to have any impact at all?
It won't have any impact.
Okay.
I think at the end, what may impact you, the fact that the fund balance, your savings account, and the interest and sinking fund could get down to zero in a couple of years.
Okay.
And thus, in an effort to protect the policy of this Commissioners
Right.
Court, which has been a pretty conservative policy. I mean, you think about it, on those top 25 county comparables, you are in the middle of the pack because you're number 15. Well, as far as debt is concerned, you're beyond the middle of the pack. You're among the top 10 with
Top 10, yeah.
less debt.
Yeah.
If you get to page 11, on page 11, you're number 9 in total tax rate. So the total tax rate, there are only 8 counties across Texas, among the top 25 largest counties in Texas, with a lower tax rate than you.
So.
I'm sorry, the total tax rate, I'm sorry, is you're number 6.
6.
Number 6, I'm
Which
sorry.
page
So-
I lost you.
On page 11. Page 11.
Okay, So
on the
so
seventh
we're number
column.
6 with our tax rate.
Yep,
So there's only 5 counties better in the state with a lower tax rate than Oasis County?
that's right.
Where are the cameras for that?
Don't worry, I gotcha, and I'll be blasting that
Where are the
momentarily.
counties for that? I just.
Mr. Chesney, did you hear that?
I think that
That's
that's great
awesome.
news.
That-
Um,
It's accurate.
That's great. That's great. And I agree, we've been very conservative over the years, and the previous courts have been very conservative. And in the end, I want to make sure that, I'm content with being average, but when in the top 6, that says a lot, about
Well,
the recommendations that we get and what we're supporting. So that.
But wait, hold
that
on,
makes
what
a
was
big
the
deal.
one, we're in the bottom on the debt? What'd you tell me, what we said?
Yes, on page 10.
Let's
Page 10?
Let's blast that one too, so we're one of the worst counties on debt.
No,
it's
See,
the
that's
opposite.
what happens when you get off, and I'm glad you're back, Commissioner.
Hey, man, I walked around.
You walked
I know.
around.
You have a back problem like I do. But anyway, so on page 10, you'll see that the county's debt is at 166 million. only 9 counties
Have less debt.
have less debt than you do.
Gotcha.
And then on page 11, only 5 counties have lower debt than you. And, and basically Dallas County is 1, Tarrant County in 4th, Bear County, San Antonio, Collin is Plano, Denton is Denton, Texas, where the University of North Texas is, and then us.
That's good. That means we've raised taxes less than everyone else. That's good. That's something.
And that was as of 2021. So next year, we'll have the 2022 tax rate, I believe, there, and we'll figure it out, what that is. Or is that 3104 for this year? Is that what you adopted?
No, we're lower
These
than
numbers get updated all the time on me.
that. No,
so-
we're 29 this year, I think.
Yeah, so that's a lower number, yeah. So this is a higher number than what you adopted. So you're going in that direction. So my strategy here is if you borrow, whether it's 6 million, whether it's 4, whether it's 8, if you want to protect your savings account, the only way to do it and keep the tax rate untouched is by doing a restructuring. And you have the ability to do that and at a very minuscule cost. It's gonna cost you something. That refinancing is not for savings. But at the end of the day, this county is very, very conservative. And kudos to you guys. If you look at the ones on red where you really come among the last, even though your fund balance has been improving, you're still lower than a lot of your peers. You know, you think about Collin County and Plano, they have 155% of their savings account in their savings account of their operating budget. It's hard to justify that, I guess, but you're at 26% and growing. But, you know, going back to your thoughts and comments, Commish, we look at this in order to be able to get to the nitty-gritty of it. So if you were to say, okay, let's give the tools to staff, let's get county auditor's office, the system, the equipment, then I think Michael comes over at the next meeting and sends to you, tells you what the final bids are. The number is better than 6, which is good, but it's still a bigger number than borrowing nothing. And so thus, if you give us the authority to proceed today, we will come to you sometime on November the 16th.
I'd
for
like to
final
move that we give Noe the authority to proceed, so we can know where we're at.
Wait, this is a presentation. There's no action item on this.
Well, I don't know, was it?
That's all I saw.
That was a presentation.
Well, on the 12th, I guess, we have to come back on the 12th, Noe, I guess, in
Yeah.
October.
Well, this is a very simple thing to do. I mean, we can come back
Sure.
on the 12th, and I don't have to come back. I mean, I can just, can do it by
Yeah.
Zoom if you want.
It's the
But,
next meeting.
Yeah. But the objective is to have this done, if everybody kind of gives us a nod on this, do the loan sometime on November the 16th.
So tell me what you're gonna bring back on October.
I didn't realize what the agenda said. I didn't
No,
put
no,
that.
but what are you gonna bring back to recommend exactly, so that I can,
We would recommend for you to do a $6 million personal property contractual obligation. It could be lower than that, an amount not to exceed 6 million. So if it is 3 million, we only do 3. If it's, you're gonna have to rely on what the bids reflect. You haven't published those bids. I'm assuming you're gonna publish those or announce those on the 12th?
no, we can't. We're waiting on a funding source.
So you get the funding source first and then?
No, we've already done we've already put out it's already been done. We don't have any money to do it. Well, no,
Go ahead and use the mic, though. Use the mic.
I mean, so we don't have money to do it. That's why you're here, is to give us suggestions on what to do. So we don't have a funding source. We've already sent out the RFQ
But see, but the thing is, what I don't know,
on the mic.
Yeah, just come on the mic.
You, yeah.
No way.
I don't know the final amount. If you tell me the final
Well,
amount is
that's-
5, it's 5.
Yeah.
And it'll cost us X. I could give you that at that moment. But right now, even if I come on the 12th to give you a recommendation,
Well,
I still can't. tell
Yeah,
you
let
the
me,
amount.
let me explain why we did not make a decision yet, because the court asked for additional information, and we're gonna get that on the 12th.
And the
So
numbers
we
were
can
wrong.
have the the court will make a decision first. There's multiple bids. We'll make a decision, then you'll have an exact number, no problem, on the 12th.
So then on the 12th, I will bring you with that exact number.
Yeah,
You will, I'm assuming, today I can tell you categorically, if you want to find the funding source, this is one way to find the funding source. You borrow the money, you do a slight restructuring, and you're there.
correct.
And
Understood.
it keeps, it protects the policy of this court to not raise taxes as it pertains to debt.
Exactly. And
So-
just to rephrase, not rephrase, but to reiterate, this particular software was not eligible for ARPA, and it was not eligible for our CO 21, NOE.
So, Noe, my question too is, in going through what you went through, I like when the debt service rate starts to go down, because that gives me some hope that maybe somewhere along the line, maybe the tax rate might. But if we do what you're proposing, so taking back to the page, because if we do what you're proposing, doesn't that inhibit it from going down because we're borrowing more, obviously?
Well, I take you to page 2.
Okay.
You don't have to borrow for anything. I mean, I think the consequences, I'm not here to tell you borrow the money. You don't.
No, I know you're not telling us, but you're saying we have to restructure, that's borrowing.
Well, if you want to keep the tax rate, you can borrow the money and raise taxes.
But you're saying if we restructure,
Yes.
that's borrowing money. That's getting money from
But-
somewhere else, right?
Okay, so what's your point, Commissioner? I'm trying to get to your point.
Restructuring, he wants to know whether that's a borrowing or not.
It is a borrowing.
Right, so
Yes.
you're gonna recommend that
So
we.
I said to you earlier, a minute ago, I said to you, you're gonna exchange old bonds with new bonds.
Right, but if we restructure whatever this is to get more money, we're gonna be
Yes.
borrowing, which means we're not gonna pay down our debt sooner, we're gonna increase our debt.
That's
by-
exactly right.
Right, which means
That's
our
right,
debt
but-
rate won't go down, because,
You're talking about a very de minimis amount. Think about it like this.
yeah, it's
Yes,
always
it
a
is.
de
No, it
minimis.
is de minimis.
It's millions.
Well, if.
not
Well,
de
it's your,
minimis.
it's your
No, It's
INS.
not millions.
It's,
It's not millions. In fact, if you go over to that page 4,
No, but-
let me
but
just
you-
take you there, on page 4,
Borrowing your own money.
or page 5, I'm sorry. The financing may cost you not millions.
We're borrowing millions, Noe, that's not de minimis.
You're taking off millions. In other words, if I owe you $1 million, and I want to restructure that $1 million that I had with you, I'm gonna bring you another $1 million
No, you're gonna bring me
to
another.
pay off the old debt, but you're not giving me any credit for having to pay you off the $1 million with the new $1 million that I brought you in. That's what a restructuring is. A
But
restructure,
you're still adding debt. Restructuring is also adding debt to
I
what it
just
is.
told you that you were, but it's $253,000 on a present value basis, not millions of dollars, Commissioner.
Well,
and when you have a situation like us,
Yeah.
where you're borrowing, it will cause a potential crash of your
That's
system,
a different-
causing millions and millions of other dollars.
No, but that's
I'm
a-
just saying, you
that's a
have to do a
different argument.
benefit cost analysis of that restructuring of the debt.
But Judge, I'm not debating that with him. I'm just trying to make sure I understand what he's saying on this debt.
He's saying that you're,
I didn't realize you were debating. I was telling
Yeah.
you, I didn't see it as a debate. You're saying to me that a restructure is not adding debt? I did say to you, a restructuring does add debt. If you want to be nitty-gritty on the debt that we're adding, it's $253,000 from the old debt that you agreed back in 2015 to the new debt.
Sure.
Commissioner Gonzalez said, how far out are we paying this debt? We're gonna do it within the same parameters.
What present value is a nice way of saying, but we're still borrowing potentially anywhere between $4 and $8 million, because that's what the prices of this software is. We're still incurring that. Maybe it's own,
Okay,
I mean, it's still money.
now you're mixing apples with oranges. We're gonna pay for Michael's or for Dell's equipment, $4.5 million. That's new debt. That's what you added to the books. If you say to me, with the restructure, what are we actually achieving? The restructure is gonna achieve for you not to increase rates, and most importantly, preserve your fund balances to a point. I cannot do any financing for anything, and you don't deplete fund balances. Because right now, you've been lowering the tax rate, irregardless of whether you're borrowing money or not, you're lowering the tax rate. Every year, I'm coming here and you're using less INS tax rate. Why? Because you're using the savings account. So if you borrow nothing, you're gonna get away with that fund balance sooner or later. Now you're telling me, I wanna borrow $6 million. Oh, well, if you borrow $6 million and you want to protect that fund balance, you gotta do something with your existing debt, restructure it, and lower the payments because you originally, remember, we talked about 9 loans. One of the loans is being paid aggressively. Okay, let's adjust that to not be so aggressive and achieve what this court has always told us to try to achieve. And that is keep the tax rate low and let's see if we can finance something.
Okay.
That's all I was trying to do.
No, I know you, yeah, I get your objective, but the bottom line is we're borrowing more money. I mean.
You're borrowing the $6 million.
Right.
That's what you're borrowing.
Right. And rates aren't really super good right now considering the interest rates.
They're actually, if you look at, you and I've been old enough to see or to remember what the rates were 40 years ago.
Well, yeah.
Today, you're at, probably at a, I'll give you an example. Today, mortgage rates on a 30-year mortgage is almost 7%. Back in February, they were at 3.5%, 3.25%. So rates are twice as much as they were back in February. I mean, you and I have been in this business of public policy, public government for a while. You would have done this 6 months ago, you would have had a lower rate. On the other side, you got other issues that if you don't do anything, then that's a policy issue. I'm not here to tell you.
And not to be anything other than just clear, because we've changed the way we've done things in our insurances. We've gone in and we've said, okay, we don't want to pay. So I'm asking you this for a reason, not because I'm trying to be in any way insulting or anything else. Remind me how you get paid on these things.
I get paid out of the bond proceeds.
Right.
So
And
my
so you-
fee is probably gonna be, on a $4 million issue, our firm is gonna make about $25,000.
Okay,
And
so-
we gotta pay rating agencies, and we gotta pay lawyers, we gotta pay the Attorney General's office, and then if you do the restructure of $6 million, it's another $25,000.
So my question to you is what we've done with our insurance, property casualty and health, is we've said, hey, we don't want to keep paying people commissions. We'd rather pay someone on a monthly basis to get us the best deal. And not that I don't think you are, but I'm just saying, I don't want you to, I'm predicating this because I want you to understand, I'm not, it might be wise for this court to look at these kinds of things in our debt also, because it might be better just to say, okay, we're going to pay Noe, a certain amount a month to do this for us, like all the time, to watch this stuff and look at this stuff and see where we need to restructure so that we're not worried about the fact that we're paying you a commission or anybody else a commission. You may have to pay someone else a commission, but maybe not. So what I'd like you to think about, because it just kind of snapped in, was, is there a way that we do that that's going to be better for this county? Because when we were having those insurance discussions, and it's not as much here, right? But when we were having those insurance discussions, I always felt like, oh my gosh, those guys were making big commissions. Are we really getting the best deal, right? So we switched it, and I think it's served us very well. We pay them a monthly amount. They save us lots and lots of money. So maybe we ought to look at some sort of contract with you that says, instead of paying us on each deal that comes up, we say, we're going to pay Noe X amount per month. You're not going to get a commission anymore, but we want you to watch everything. We want you to look at this stuff like all the time, regularly. How can we do it? When do we need to refund? And I know you do, but still, it makes me feel better when we're not paying someone a commission, and yours is probably the smallest one we pay and all this stuff. I get it, so I'm not saying it's an exorbitant or anything. So I just think maybe I know it's a bigger picture discussion, but hey, we're here, so,
Well,
maybe
just so
we
you
don't
know,
have-
underwriters get the same type of commission too. I mean, we're not here to talk about that, but I just want to reiterate, we called Noe because we have a problem, and he's here at our request. He's not here trying to sell. He's here trying to help
get a
us
job.
come up with a solution to a problem that's very real, which is that this court historically did not provide for the infrastructure, whether it's software or elevators or HVAC or roof or whatever, for over a decade. And so now it's all coming to roost. So it's not surprising that we need to have this type of discussion, but after 30 years, this software is no longer a software for our future. And again, some of the important topics here, we thought that we could use some of the dollars that we had, but they're not available. So you've just demonstrated, although he just left, convenient, that we are one of the best in the state in multiple categories, and they don't like the narrative. That's all there is to it. They don't like the fact that we're a low tax rate, low, debt county, and our debt-to-value ratio is excellent. Besides that, we've got growth on our horizon. That interest and sinking fund, is definitely minute, but it's not, it's only one piece of the equation. You, right, Noe? I mean, you've got M&O and INS. So
Yep.
depending on what your tax rate is, then you figure out what you need to support that debt, and that's what controls the INS. You're giving us an unbelievable way to solve this 30, this problem that didn't happen overnight, right? It took 30 years to get to the obsolete, and it's great. So thank you. Thank you for acknowledging, with facts and figures, how financially strong and prudent we've been. And that's all there is to it. It's an opportunity next time to make a decision.
No, so if we find $2 million, we just borrow $4 million.
Yeah,
I mean,
That's correct.
that could be the same thing, right?
yeah.
So, but anyway, this is for next meeting, I guess, right? We're not gonna vote anything right now.
That's right.
But I thank you very much for.
All right.
Yeah, thank you,
giving us
Noe.
information and.
And you're available, right? If
Yeah,
commissioners want to talk to you, you're available for more information.
Yep.
Thank you. All right, so we'll catch you next
Noe?
time.
Hey,
All right.
Can you find $2 million? Can you find $2 million?
Well, that's already, that's eligible. So the next one is, I've got Louis Ray, Melinda Malone, discuss and consider submission of grant application to the GLO, Community Development Block Grant Mitigation Funds, Local Hazard Mitigation Funds Program, regarding the Nueces County MAP Plan, Mitigation Action. Louis, we skipped you earlier. After you do this, if you want to tell everybody about anything regarding general information, we'll do this item, then go straight into you. But we'll take this first.
All right, good afternoon, Court.
Good afternoon.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we're here to talk about the General Land Office availability of about $25 million that they're going to issue out in grants to cover the local hazard mitigation plans programs that they have. And for that $25 million, they are offering $20,000 to $100,000 of that with no match funding for the creation of hazard mitigation action plans. We're here to ask that we be able to apply for this grant, and we have strong feelings that we'll be approved for it because when we reached out to the GLO, hardly anybody has applied for the grant itself. Now, our HMAP has gone back from about 2015 when we started doing HMAP for the county. Before then, we was doing it as a region, and now we're doing it as a county because FEMA decided they wanted to have a more localized HMAP planning. We applied for a HMAP grant for this term through TDM, and we was denied that. We didn't meet the categories to receive those funding, but now we have an opportunity to receive those fundings.
Thank you, Louis. And again, 100% match on this one? Or no? Yes. Okay, great. And just to not get you guys confused, this is the state's own little pot, right? Not ours.
Okay.
So, because they tend to use the same, acronyms. It is a CDBG MIT, but it's from.
Zero match.
Zero match, right? It's the state's pot, not any of our dollars, okay? Which is the way we like it, the way it's best for all of us. So anyway, I'd like to make the motion and then get some discussion if there's any.
Second.
Thank you. Motion a second. Louis, will you be able to get this in very quickly?
We are very close to putting it in right now.
All right, thank you. Keep us posted. Motion a second. Any questions for Louis or Melinda? Recognition of Melinda Malone, you may have seen her, may not. She doesn't often come to court, but please know that she's working on recovery. So it's nice to see faces that, are in our building working. She works very hard, really focus, again, on any action having to do with recovery.
Nice to meet you, Court.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye?
Aye.
Post same sign. Okay, thank you. Louis, anything, we're so grateful that Ian moved another direction.
So, yes, Judge. So, right now, it's looking like it's going to hit the western side of Florida, and then going through the United States at that point. Our biggest concern is not going to be so much from the storm itself, but from the residual effects of storm in the Gulf. So if there's a storm in the Gulf, you think about the Gulf as like a tub. If there's an area that has a splash, then there's a other area that's going to be affected. So we're concerning ourselves with maybe coastal tidal flooding in some of our low-lying areas because of the storm. So I'm going to have a conversation with a few people tomorrow just to discuss and make sure that we're ready for that in case that happens. If it's going to be any flooding, it's going to be on the coastal area, so we know.
And also, I read from your, by the way, thank you for those of you, those situational awareness calls that you get on for us. You've been on them just nonstop since the storm was identified as a potential threat to the Gulf. But rip currents, guys, so for those of you that help with Jasani Smith Foundation, we could see some nasty, dangerous rips. And so we're going to want to keep our emergency management Facebook, really focus on those red flags, coastal parks, but I mean, we can do good jobs to identify that. That was the one thing I took away from your slides.
That's correct, Judge. And also, anytime we have a storm that's going to hit the Gulf, we're going to do a pull of our steer data to make sure that it's correct and make sure we can make that contact with people who need to have contact for our our personnel who needs extra medical help. So we've done that as well. Another thing that we are looking at is there's going to be a low system coming through, so look for a dip in temperatures for the rest of the week. So, and the highs mean about 90 degrees instead of 100, and the lows are probably dipped down to about 60s. So that's something to be on the lookout for.
Okay.
But when it gets cold, it's going to drop. The difference is going to be about 30 degrees.
Okay.
So we're not used to that yet. So we got to
Yeah.
get acclimated to that.
Got
Other
it.
than that, Court, I
Thank
don't have
you.
anything else.
Appreciate you. Okay. We've got item number 5 would be October the 19th. Is that correct?
12th.
I'm so sorry, the 12th. That's a regular scheduled meeting.
19th
Okay,
is
I don't
good.
think we
could
need to.
skip the 12th if we
Well,
want
no,
to.
we have the one on the 19th too, on the calendar. I just skipped that one. There's no need or action since it's a regularly scheduled one. Okay, for the auditor, there's a change order number 22. Lisa, could you lead us through that change order?
Yes, ma'am. Hello, Court. Today is budget change order number 22 that I submit for your approval. For the most part, it's just departments covering any known or anticipated shortages. The county clerk is moving money from some of her funds where she had savings throughout the year to help offset some election costs. There was a road right-of-way that was purchased for the Road and Bridge Fund, and that's being moved over to cover that from contingency. Do y'all have any questions?
I have a comment, if that's okay.
Yeah.
The election funds, it's because after the budget last year, remember, our Texas legislature, during the special, we had to have an additional constitutional election. That was not planned for in the budget, so that's what it was.
Yes, and she was very fiscally conservative throughout the year, and so she was able to move significant savings from her other departments over to cover.
Thank you. So we didn't hit the general fund like you did everyone else in the state.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you don't, yeah, I think it's
Very
good.
good.
Thank you.
And you don't need anything more, right, during this time? It's okay to ask.
No, bro, thank you for
Okay.
asking. I appreciate it.
Well,
No.
it's hectic right now, so.
Motion?
Yeah,
Sorry.
thank you.
Motion to approve the budget
Yeah.
change order?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Guys, with the no need to have had, we put this on just in case we needed an opportunity to visit with Jenny or Sandy Gomez. There's no need at this point. So therefore, we've concluded all of our actions. Hold on, Kara's going to double check that. Kara?
Yes.
Yeah, we did.
Y'all
You
did
were stepped
everything,
out,
right?
but we
Yeah,
did it.
okay, good.
I believe we are complete, and we stand adjourned at
Judge,
4:46.
do you want to do, I had a few obituaries.
Adjournments in memory?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll hold on the 4:46 adjournment. Go ahead, Commissioner Chesney. Anyone else have some, by the way? Okay,
Judge,
just
first,
you,
I wanted
Commissioner.
to ask if we could just take a quick moment of silence for those London families that were in that tragic accident this weekend. There's a couple of young men who are, in bad shape. So just would ask that we take a moment to reflect and remember them. They're still with us, thankfully, but they are in really, really bad shape. And I would just hope that everyone could take a moment to reflect on that.
Let's do that for 60 seconds. I'll time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. First one I have today is a dear friend and of the community and dear friend of mine, a former neighbor, Alan Stoner. Mr. Stoner passed away peacefully at Mirador Retirement Community on September 9th, 2022, following a lengthy illness. He was born in Kent, England, the second of 3 children of the late Alan F.B. Stoner and Elizabeth Stoner. His family relocated to Ireland in 1936, and he always claimed his beloved city of Dublin as his hometown. He immigrated to the United States in October of 1954 and was recruited by the late Harmon Dobson, founder of Whataburger. He began his business career with Whataburger in McAllen, Texas, living there from 1954 to 1976, during which time he developed the Rio Grande market area for Whataburger. As his career with Whataburger grew, Alan and his family moved to Corpus Christi in 1976, where he continued to serve Whataburger in a variety of senior management positions, including Senior Vice President of Operations. He also served as a member of the Board of Directors. After his retirement from Whataburger in 1993, he became active in a variety of business activities, including venture capital, real estate development, and business consulting. Alan often spoke of how blessed he and Mamie were to have had the opportunity to truly live the American dream. He was a Texan by choice and had deep roots in Texas soil. He spoke Spanish fluently and loved the dual culture we enjoy in South Texas. He also maintained a great love for his native Ireland, spending many summers in Dublin with Mamie. He was a wonderful, wonderful man. I would certainly pass on the condolences to the family. I did attend a service at St. Pius, and I can't tell you how wonderful he was to live next door to and get to know, and he will certainly be missed. My second one today, Judge Jeanette Wingfield. Jeanette Katie Holcamp Wingfield passed away at her home during the early morning of September 8, 2022. She was 93 years old and had recently shared with her family a peaceful feeling of being called back into the near presence with our eternal God. Jean was a marvelous cook and homemaker with special gifts for sewing, decorating, and gardening. As her kids left home, she had time to discover her love and talents for golf and bridge. She was an integral part of the communities of St. Bartholomew's Episcopal Church, Farrows Country Club, her many bridge clubs in their Farrow Valley neighborhood. In January of this year, she sold her home and moved to a lovely apartment at the Vieira Senior Living Center in Corpus Christi. Miss Wingfield's daughter, many of you may have known, Debbie Wingfield, would pass on condolences to the Wingfield family. And finally today, Judge, again, probably another one you may have had some interaction with too, Donald Parker Doggy McClure, dedicated and loving husband, devoted father, and adoring grandfather and great-grandfather, passed away peacefully on September 15th, 2022 at the age of 93, born in Brownsville, Texas. Along with his older brother Ken, they grew up in the rural setting in Bayview, Texas, living a young boy's dream, hunting, fishing, swimming, and plinking rabbits at night along the country roads. Mr. McClure's obituary, I would be here all day to read all of the incredible things that he did and his love for Corpus Christi in this area, and I would certainly pass on my condolences to Mr. McClure's family as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for covering those. My condolences as well. Great friends and great family, the Stoners. But very sad to hear also our condolences to Kathy Sellers, her dad, and Doggy McClure in his passing, and all the others that we pray for. We thank you for a good court, and its time is 4:51. We do stand adjourned.